Whether you're new to gaming or have been enjoying video games all your life, great gaming is not only about having fun and escaping the stresses of everyday life, but also being there to pick up our teammates, especially when they're down.
Guardian down.
We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: promoting a positive gaming community, sharing news around the industry in Destiny 2, and discussing thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, and your destiny. Well, what's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 318 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. For those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we're a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise. We like to sprinkle in some entertainment and other topics of discussion relating to our hobbies as well from time to time, usually in our roundtable episodes, which, by the way, roundtable episode is next week. So I hope you guys can hang out with us for that. It'll be our live roundtable episode. For you, those of you listening right now on the podcast platforms out there and want to check out our live shows, go to Todd the Gator on YouTube and Twitch. It's TODDTHEGATR. And you can join our live shows every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we'll also have the replay of our show on YouTube and Twitch as well. And of course, if you want to listen to any of our audio editions or episodes of our podcast, you can go to our website, guardiandowncast.com, and listen to any individual episodes whenever you like. This week, I have my co-host from the great state of Utah, Mr. Kingsleymac, back with us again. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, really glad to be here. Even though it was a crazy day for me, I am ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, man, it's been one of those days, huh? I heard you were talking about it in the chat.
It's nothing worth getting into, but I am here and happy to talk.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you being here. First, this week, we're going to catch up, see what we've been doing in Edge of Fate and in our lives period for the week. We always do that early in the show. I have one movie review, that we're going to talk about tonight. And also a new streaming show that I just started to watch with actually 3 seasons of it already. But I want to mention it because I just started checking it out, and I think it's a good one. I think they have some Emmy nominations, in fact, this year for their show. As usual, I'm going to report on any pertinent information from this week in Destiny from Bungie, and I've got words. Also, before we leave tonight, I have a fresh topic of the week to share, and hopefully our live chat will also give us some input and feedback as well from this topic of the week. And if there's any questions from our community, and I looked that we do have some tonight, we'll be sure to answer those later in the show. So if you do have a question for us in the chat tonight, head over to our podcast questions channel and enter it, and we'll see it and share, our community feedback with our question of the week also in our Discord. This is a survey we put out every week concerning a specific question that I put out every Monday or Tuesday, depending on how backed up I am for the week. And I'll usually read the results of that little survey and any comments people had as well, as far as anybody giving feedback on that. So, in fact, this week, get out your tinfoil hats. It gets a little out there. It's a little tongue-in-cheek question of the week this time, but I just was curious how people would take it. And, of course, if you want to be more involved with our community, I suggest going to our Discord community. It's growing every day, and it's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. Ash and Iron is only 18 days away. So get that season pass completed, that reward pass completed. So if everyone's ready, let's roll.
Hey, thanks for listening to Guardian Downcast. There are several ways you can contact us. First, you can find us on X at Guardian Downcast. Or you can find us on our Instagram at Guardian Downcast and see what pics and reels Todd the Gator and his podcast guests want to share with you guys. We have a brand new website too. Just visit guardiandowncast.com, where you can find all of our contact info, leave us a voicemail, give our show a rating or review, search for any past episodes, or even give back to our community. Also, don't forget to sign up for future updates to the show, where we'll also have random drawings throughout the year, and you may win a gift card or even some GDC merch. And finally, you can send us an email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Our community thrives on interaction, so get involved and check us out.
Hey, before we get into the TWAB this week, Mike, I just wanted to go just check in with you, man. See what you've been up to this week. What have you been doing in gaming? I noticed you've been playing other things than Destiny this week. What you been up to, man?
I always do.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing you're noticing a specific game?
Yeah, I did. I did notice a specific game. It's one of your fallbacks.
Yeah. I've talked about it before, but I haven't actually really, really played it until this last week. In the past, I'll say the name in a second. In the past, I checked out the first mission. I'd done a lot of research.
Uh-huh.
I was really impressed with like the way they do endgame stuff and builds and recalibration of exotics and these contract things, which are like way more involved types of bounties.
Right.
I was like, they're doing this like way better than Destiny, I feel like. But anyways, I knew, and I'm not stupid enough to think like this game will have me hooked forever, because eventually I'll get bored too, potentially. But the game is The Division 2. Finally hopping into it hardcore. Now, what that means so far is I'm probably only about halfway through the main story. Now, I have Ubisoft Plus subscription, so I get everything. I get all the DLCs. I get the season pass. They have seasons. I get everything, and having a lot of fun so far, because this is a looter shooter PvE type shooting game, even though normally I wouldn't necessarily be excited in a military type looking shooting game. The reason why I like this is because it's not really PvP. I mean, they have a very small PvP section of the site that no one plays, no one cares about. But this is truly a PvE looter shooter, MMO type, game with all sorts of stuff. I'm really excited about some of the end game stuff. They supposedly have this 100 level building you go in. I think it's called Descent. That's true, procedurally generated, that you're going through different levels and it's like different on each level.
Okay.
Doing all sorts of good things. They're in the new season that's coming out in 2 weeks. They're expanding the patrol zone. So like think about free roaming, right? And Destiny has been like this too, especially if you're not in Kepler and Division. The complaint was like, it just seems kind of easy and not, if you want to make it harder or more involved, there's not really a lot to do in the open world patrol zone.
Right.
But they have a really cool thing coming in the next season update where, from what I understand, and it's really cool too, because people can test the new seasons ahead of time through a public test server, almost like they're beta testing the seasons.
Okay.
But what's going to happen is you can go to certain areas and patrol, and you don't have to do this. But if you like interact with certain things, it gets to a thing where an enemy faction comes out and tries to fight against you in the patrol area. And you think like, well, what's the big deal? It could be like a mini mission or a public event. Like, no, it's way more involved, where it's like, they're going like all around the map. And if you know like the shortcuts between like buildings and alleyways, it can really be advantageous. So you can like get angles on them and everything. And so it seems like it'll be pretty cool. I don't know, man. This game doesn't have a lot of players, but the funny thing about this game is it's gotten more popularity over time. When they had their latest DLC in March, it had a higher player count than the original release of The Division 2. So it kind of shows you they're doing something right if player count's generally going up with each release versus Destiny. Now player count's going down with a release, but
I didn't know they were still updating that game still, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Yeah. In fact,
I don't remember any of this you're telling me right now when I played.
Yeah. And, season, year 8 of The Division 2 is coming out next year, but it'll also be the 10-year anniversary in general of the Division, like the full series. They have a really big year planned next year. There's rumors that Division 3 is going to be coming out down the road. I mean, this is something that is there. Think about like the Warframe guys. Well, I might be a Division 2 guy now. So, it's a side game. Obviously, I'm not going away from Destiny, but it's nice because right now there's a lot of new to me content.
Well,
that's fun to play.
Let me ask you this: since you're playing that again, how's the build crafting on it? I remember the loot was so convoluted last time I played. It was almost like noise. It was just how the loot system was put together. It just seemed very, very confusing how to put builds together for your soldier.
Yeah.
Has that improved at all, or is it still pretty crazy?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing about it is, see, you can't, and I can't really understand, although I do a pretty good job of putting myself in other people's shoes. Like Destiny build crafting too can seem very convoluted at first too, if you're not sure what's happening.
Well, that's true.
I don't know how to answer that. I feel like there's a lot to it, which is good. So I'm excited learning all the systems. They have really good tutorial systems too and lore that's always built into all the menus that also Destiny doesn't have. So you can go in at any point and see tutorial screens again. You can see lore. There's all these pickup things. Like the menus you go through are like really deep if you want it to be. And you can just take your time and just learn everything really slowly if you want. And here's the funny thing, that there's a lot of fun abilities you can have too. Like rather than just have grenades and stuff, you can have like drones that you have, or you can have like little like robots that go out. And I'm finding the drone is pretty powerful so far. So like I'll throw out a drone, tell him which enemies to target onto, and he'll pick shoot them and distract them. And then I can get an angle around somewhere else and then start hitting the people. And it is third person, but the gunplay actually feels pretty strong. Like it's barely a level just below Destiny. It's like very accurate. It feels good. There's not as many weapon types. There's probably about 6 weapon types. There's, SMG, there's rifle, there's auto rifle. I forget, but they don't call it auto rifle, but you know what I mean. And then there's shotgun, there's light machine gun, and there's one other thing. And so I'm having a lot of fun just trying out different things. SMGs are definitely very powerful, especially, the sniper. I have a really good sniper that I've paired with on the SMG.
Does the scope pop up when you snipe, when you aim down the sight, or is it just...
And the scope feels really good. It's really clean. Nice. And I've already been doing a good job of getting headshots. Like it feels like it's easy to learn the weapon feels and kickbacks and everything like that in the game. Right. So that's why I say the gunplay feels good. If it didn't feel good, obviously I wouldn't like it, being used to Destiny.
Sure. Man, that sounds great, man. Dude, it's been what? Probably 7 or 8 years since I played that game. And
did you play Division 2 or Division 1?
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember playing through the first campaign where there's a helicopter at the end, and it was just like really like boring the way it ended. I was like, wow, that's it? Okay. That was real hard. But all I remember about Division was Bullet Sponge Central, man. You'd be laying into a boss, and he would just sit there and just keep reloading. It just seemed redundant, the bullet sponginess. But I know I've heard that the developers have not given up on the game, that they are getting a second following on it now, but they have been listening to their player base, something Bungie is lacking these days. And
we'll see.
We'll see. I'll get into it. But no, what else you been doing, man?
That's pretty much it. I mean, I did some raids and stuff this last week, and we have some more coming up. So, again, that's the main thing I'm interested in Destiny. Of course, when Ash and Iron comes out, I'll be excited to check out the new stuff there, which isn't much. But mostly it, just Division 2 until some other games come out. But I'll save that probably for another week's episode, some other games I'm looking forward to. Yeah,
Ash and Iron, we're going to be talking about Ash and Iron tonight especially, that's for sure. I've been playing Edge of Fate every day this past week. And like I said, I guess we're into week 5 now? Is that right? Week 5? See, July 15th when it came out? So yeah, this should be week 5, I guess. I'm almost to the 400 power. I'm in the 380s right now, which means over the weekend, I'll probably get it cranked out to very close to 400. Playing the Grandmaster solo ops mostly. I want to hit 400 and then just start working on my faded weapon.
Actually week 6. This is week 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my goal was always to reach 400 and then just start working on that faded weapon title that we have a bet on, a little wager on. And, I'm looking at that title last night. I was looking at all the stuff I need. There's a lot of stuff on Kepler I need to do for sure. But, I also played week 2 of the Battlefield 6 beta, and, I have a feeling that game will not hold me like it did back in the past days of Battlefield 3 and 4. I mean, sure, it was chaotic, the usual Battlefield stuff, but I noticed that they reverted to like a Call of Duty like system to unlock weapon attachments. and nothing like the exhausted list of weapon attachments you can earn from Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. And as I like progression, something to work towards, I feel I'm going to be through all that pretty quick playing Battlefield 6 in October. So I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to be successful at reinvigorating my interest in Battlefield of the past. I think they've kind of gone halfway. You know, a lot of us Battlefield hardcore players, you know, love the Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 days, and then they went to this like templated system that copied Battlefront for a while there, and had very, very basic progression systems and very basic weapons. And it just did not enthuse me at all. I lost interest pretty quick in it. And now they're not doing quite that, but they're kind of in between. If anything, it reminds me very much of Call of Duty. Call of Duty has it where you have the gun and you have probably 2 or 3 attachments, maybe 4 on each, you know, like a barrel perk, a grip. You have different scopes. You have like little trinkets or baubles you can put on it. Then you got your stock, you know, the basics parts of a gun. But when I was upgrading I upgraded almost all the weapons they had for the I played medic. I played the support class because let's face it, that's a badass class right now because you can revive people, you can supply people. It's like they put the support class, they put the medic and support class together in one character, and I kind of dug it because I love helping, I love supporting my team, and also reviving them if I have to, where I can drag them out of harm's way and pick them up and get them back in the battle. And if you're playing Conquest, which is the only game I played, it's all about those tickets, man. You got to make sure you get those tickets reset. And it's all about, you know, losing players in that game. It's a game of attrition, if anything. The color palette, I thought they might have, improved that a bit on the second week. It's still that old bluish tint like Battlefield 3 had. I don't know if it's necessary because of all the memory space, all the chaos and destruction, but I prefer the colors actually in World War I version of the game. Second, the 2 maps they provided were really small compared to the huge maps of past Battlefield games. They stated that they're bringing back the big maps in Battlefield 6, but until I see them, ain't going to be a pre-order from me. And I don't pre-order from EA ever again, so they're going to have to prove that this game is worth me buying or ordering and playing. And I'll just look towards the major content creators and see what they say. Level Cap and Jack Frags are probably the 2 leading guys when it comes to Battlefield content creators out there. They both have millions of followers, and they've been doing it ever since the beginning. I'll wait to hear what they have to say about the game. I know they're going to be a little slanted. They're going to be a little biased because they're Battlefield guys, but I'm going to wait and see what they say before I start playing that game. October 10th is when it comes out, by the way. I was actually tinkering with the controller and game settings during the Battlefield beta as well. Man, they have so many settings for that game. That's the one thing I got to give EA and DICE is you can tweak every little thing in your controller, how you see flashes, how much screen shake you want. I mean, you can tune a lot of different things. And the problem is a lot of these things like film grain, camera shake, and all that just makes you less competitive out there against other players. So you have to almost tone down all that stuff if you're playing on controller, at least. I can't speak for the mouse and keyboard guys, but all that withstanding, I am looking forward to jumping into it and playing it in October, but I'm not going to pre-order this game. I will continue the grind until Ash and Iron update arrives for now in Destiny. And just to let you know, if you're out there grinding like I am, trying to get that power level up, I'm at 383 right now. I play about a half to an hour in the morning before I go to work. And I play about 2 hours, maybe 3 on a long night at night before I go watch my shows and go to bed. So that's how much time I'm putting in the game and how much my rank has gone up, my gear score, power, whatever you want to call it these days. So I'm right around the 383 mark as of tonight. So just letting you guys know in case you're wondering how much time you need to throw into this grind for Destiny. But entertainment-wise,
I do have a
go ahead.
Comment on the power key real quick. I think it'll be good to say it now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for your intent.
No, go for it.
Just because I said it in the Discord, but just because no one else had confirmed it. And maybe some people would be like, we knew this, but like no one was really saying it. Some articles were saying otherwise. So I finally did the test where I got to power level 300. I did not rank up my guardian rank because I wanted to see if it truly was just power, nothing to do with the guardian rank. And as I expected, it is only to do with powers, nothing to do with guardian rank. So as soon as I got to 300, I ran like 4 or 5 activities, and instantly when I was on 300, they were all dropping the tier 3. And then of course the solstice was still going on, and I was dropping tier 4 for solstice stuff. So it is what I expected. Now, of course, people will want to probably upgrade their guardian rank anyways, but the reason why it's good to know that it's not related to guardian rank and it's only related to power is because what if you're like a crucible PvP player that doesn't care about some of those things in guardian rank? Because most of those things in guardian rank are all
PvE,
harder PvE things.
Of course.
So I think it's nice to know, because there were some articles that said incorrectly. They said to get tier 3, you have to be guardian rank, what was it, 7 and 300, and then tier 4, you know what I mean? And then
better chances.
And then even Bungie had some incorrect wording for the solstice event, saying that teardrops would happen depending on your guardian rank level. And I don't know why. Yeah, it's not guardian rank level at all. And so I'm glad I finally did the test, because no one else did the test. They just wanted to rank their guardian rank as soon as they got to 300 or 400 or whatever. But
I did the test. Give me the power.
I did the test, and I think it makes sense. I think we both agree on that point, though, right? Too, it should be purely based on power than guardian rank. You know, guardian rank's a fun side thing, but yeah.
I really was hoping it was tied to guardian rank, because it just added another part of the game that you needed to try to grind up. But apparently,
I thought you wanted it the other way for the PvP players.
Well, yeah, I get that PvP, I get that, guys, but I really am enjoying the guardian rank stuff. And the problem is you're gate kept anyway, because you're not high enough power to get some of this stuff done to move on to the next guardian rank anyway. So it kind of works hand in hand. We'll see, if I get closer to guardian rank 9, if that really makes much of a difference or not. But I did, speaking of entertainment, I watched, has anybody heard of Rift Track? I'm a little old. I know there's a lot of people out there.
Yes.
Okay.
What's the movie?
Mystery Science Theater 3000. These are the guys who made that show.
But what's the famous movie to watch? Eclipse. We watched Eclipse with Rift Tracks.
Oh my God. Well,
it's hilarious.
We went this Thursday night. I don't know, was it Tuesday night? It's a special event, so it's not included in AMC Stubs, so I had to pay extra. I had to actually buy those tickets. So you got to be kind of a diehard fan to. So for anybody who doesn't know what Rift Tracks is, these are the guys who were behind Mystery Science Theater from the early days of Comedy Central, before The Daily Show was so huge. It's basically 3 guys who play a classic movie, typically a bad one, and they make comments through dialogue of the entire movie. I mean, it can be hilarious for the most part. It was fun, I guess. They played the 1994 movie Time Cop from Jean-Claude Van Damme. It was also had Mia Sarah from Ferris Bueller's Girlfriend, and Ron Silver, who played a lot of bad guys back in the 90s. And it was funny. It was funny making fun of that movie. It only received 42% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's definitely a turd of a movie. But I give it, I'll give Time Cop 1.5 stars. It's just an awful movie, but I give it 3 stars with everybody making fun of it with the Rift Track. So it's actually taped live. We saw the replay of it because we missed the week before. They actually do it live, and they simulcast it to all these theaters across the nation. And it's just so funny. And they have big Patreon, and they do crowdfunding where they actually raise enough money in the Patreon to buy the licenses to play these movies to everybody. And of course, make fun of make fun of them. So, I just remember back, it's just so funny, man. If you ever get a chance to do a Rift Tracks event, definitely go and check it out. The horror movie ones at during Halloween are the best, because the horror movies are so bad. They usually get like an old 50s horror movie that where let's face it, special effects were pretty lacking back then. And it just is hilarious, what they thought was scary back then. But if you ever have a chance to go to a Rift Tracks, event, definitely do it. It's a lot of fun. The other show I wanted to share, this week is, of course, Alien Earth on FX. I've seen all 3 episodes, and that have been released so far. And I'm actually listening to the podcast, companion podcast that goes with it. And it's really insightful because they talk to the characters, they talk to the actors, they talk to the showrunners, they talk to everybody involved in the movie. And you realize what that one scene in the movie where the alien jumps down or something. They were talking about this today, how they did it in 2 takes, but they had like all these departments involved just to make that one scene. You realize how much work goes into making these shows. It's pretty crazy. So definitely check that out. The second episode, they contrast the building that the ship crashes into on Earth, that's why it's called Alien Earth. And it kind of shows the different levels of people who have money and who don't, privilege. It also talks about the oligarchies out there, which I think that kind of the billionaires, well, there's trillionaires actually in Alien Earth. So it's pretty crazy how they compare what we deal with today with billionaires and stuff like that in the news. I started getting into a series on Apple TV that for years now, I just decided to jump into and check out. And that is a spy series called Slow Horses. It's up for many, many Emmy awards this year. So I decided to check it out. So far, it's been pretty entertaining. It's about an obscure and forgotten department of MI6 in the UK, where they send agents that failed at their assignments or where burnout older agents go and do nothing, it seems. Speaking of burnout old agents, Gary Oldman, which I'm a big fan of his shows, his movies he's done, he's the lead character. Jack Lowden and Kristen Scott Thomas are also very heavy hitters in this series, and I'm just starting to get into it, and I'll report back once I get deeper into it. But there's 3 seasons out, I believe, and I'm only just starting first season. So it got a 98% from Rotten Tomatoes from critics. So maybe check this one out if you're looking for a new series to get into. It's a very much a slow burn at first, so hang in there. It does ramp up nicely as you get a few more episodes in. So I know we got a lot to talk about Destiny-wise tonight. So if you're good, Kingsley, let's just jump right in to This Week in Destiny. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. We'll be right back after we get in to This Week in Destiny. Hey, just a quick reminder that we have several Destiny 2 clans, and we invite all of you to be a part of it. If you're looking for a home to share your Destiny experiences, now would be a great time to jump in and get to know some of these great gamers. We're here for the community and friends you make along the way, and no hardcore restrictions. And enjoy what time you have for Destiny is all we ask. So if you're looking for a clan out there, join our Discord. That's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast, and just reach out to a mod and we'll open the door for you. So join us, and later, Guardian. All right, This Week in Destiny for August 21st, 2025. This Week in Destiny, we're sharing more details about the new content coming to the Desert Perpetual raid, as well as some changes we have planned for the portal in September. Yes. It might look that it's still very far away. Nope. Ashen Iron is dropping on September 9th. That's just a bit over 2 weeks, but let's say we're focused on the present for now. So here's what they're going to talk about. The Desert Perpetual expands soon. This is on July, what? No. July 19th, it was released to the world. Okay, I got you.
You're reading word for word.
I'm not going to read it word for word tonight because I know I listen to podcasts and people just start reading it word for word. I'm like, okay, fast forward. I know you guys on the podcast apps are doing that right now. Oh no, we already know what's going on in the TWAB this week, so we're just going to skip past this part. But trust me, there's some really important information in here that I want to get to you guys.
Well, September 20th is the new version of the raid.
Yes, and contest mode will be on for the first 48 hours. And as soon as the first team does complete the new epic version of the Desert Perpetual, then it will go back where you can actually jump in and do it at a regular non-contest mode, which is always the way they should do it. There's going to be a world's first race for it. That's all we need to know there. But they just want to let you know that there's a not swap update coming with the release of the epic raid to keep success encounters focused on action gameplay and create a level playing field for players across the platforms. We're rolling out a new version of not swap for contest mode. This modifier will now reset your super and ability energy, special ammo, and heavy ammo, as well as remove all ammo and orbs on the ground. when you change exotic or legendary armor or weapon ammo types. Damn. This modifier will also take effect when 3 or more feats are activated in the standard difficulty of the epic raid. This experience has been tuned around this modifier. We'll share more information in a future TWID. What were you going to say, Kingsley?
Okay, so I think this is wild, and hard to say if I agree with it for contest mode for that. I mean, this could go even longer than when the raid first came out, especially if there's more people watching now. So we're hoping there's no cheaters this time around. We know the team that won Worlds First didn't cheat, or else we would have found out by now. But having not swapped for the epic version of the raid, this could go on forever. I feel like they're just trying to do things here to, we have the hardest raid ever. I don't really care one way or the other. The thing that I'm a little disappointed on, though, is, no, I'm not actually, because I don't know. I don't know how I feel yet. I hate the idea of hot swapping anyways, because you get a lot of peer pressure to do it. But the fact that it'll be a thing even after contest mode, I'll be interested to see what the community thinks. I don't know how I feel now. I think I'm mostly okay with it, but it'll be interesting.
Well, I'm sure a lot of World's First racers were not going to be happy about this. That's the way it is in Crucible already, by the way. If you switch your weapon type, you reset all your super gain, all of your any of your special abilities, your grenade, everything resets to 0. So I'm kind of already used to this. I used to start with a shotgun, and as soon as I ran out of ammo, I'd switch over to a sidearm. Now I can't do that anymore because I guess a lot of people were jumping in doing the same thing. So yeah, people are not happy. There's a lot of buzz about this in the interwebs right now.
I think some people are more okay with it, though. Like we even have a comment in the chat that it doesn't have to be that big of a thing. Scaro9 live streamed and he explained it. Tajo said, and I think as long as the tuning's okay, I think this actually makes the raid more pure again, because I kind of get annoyed too when people think the ways to clear raids are the cheesy ways or the hot swap ways or things like that. And so at least this will make it more pure.
Okay. Featured gear and seasonal mods. The bonus to damage and damage resistant granted by the artifact when using currently featured gear will be active during this time. We know this will impact build crafting. The seasonal mods can be slotted into featured weapons, will also be available during this time. But they basically said, we know this might make you make adjustments, but it is what it is, and they'll have a banned item list later on. But they just want to give everybody plenty of head start that you cannot swap. Can't do hot swap on the challenge, on the contest mode. Doesn't affect me because I don't run contests anymore. Integrity of the challenge, they just said that they're going to be keeping an eye on stuff. Supposedly there's going to be more people watching out and looking for anybody doing something they're not supposed to be doing, or going against terms of service, blah blah blah. Upcoming raid reward changes. Now I know you like this, Kingsley.
Yeah.
If
you want, I can read this section to help your voice.
Go for it. I'm gonna try to save it tonight.
This is really good news. They kind of hinted that this would be coming, and this is only on the newest raid, unfortunately. But what's going to happen with Ash and Iron is a lot more loot, a lot more gear drops, things like that. You can earn extra rewards from clearing all the encounters. So if you defeat the 3 sub bosses, the 3 encounters before the main boss, you will then get an additional piece of gear. Also, they're introducing 2 new weekly challenges. One of them gives an extra piece of loot from your first clear of an encounter each week in either version of the raid. So again, this is happening on the normal version too. Mm-hmm. Completing the challenge will unlock an additional one that provides loot from the epic raid. And the loot from these challenges has bonus seasonal power and drops as an upgraded tier based on the number of active feats. So they're really trying to build into making the raid look more beneficial to everyone. They also want to make even more improvements where they are going to remove a requirement of completing this triumph called Combined Mastery that you would have to have done in the past to increase your gear tier drop. So basically all Desert Perpetual gear will now drop at tier 2 in the standard version and tier 3 in the epic version, no matter your current power level.
Okay.
This is pretty cool. I think we could have done 3 and 4 instead of 2 and 3. because a raid is still kind of a big deal thing, and really gear starts getting good at 4. But whatever, I'm not complaining. But the nice thing about this is we can bring newer people in. Doesn't matter their power level, and on normal version of the raid, they will get tier 2 loot to drop, no matter their power level.
And tier 2 is fine. It just means you have enhanced mods.
Yeah.
You have enhanced.
No, I know. I really don't care that much,
Yeah.
but it's cool that they're doing this. I just think they probably could have bumped it up 1 level, but I'm not complaining.
Okay.
And then they've even added a chance for all gear earned during a full clear to drop at up to +2 from your base tier.
Right.
So that's kind of an RNG thing there, which we've already kind of had, but not +2. It was usually more like a +1 RNG to go above. So all good things in the raid. And last, an off requested feature for raids is arriving, where players who complete the map and compass quest as well as the epic raid can then approach the simulant Ansible to receive a new quest, and completing this new quest will unlock the ability to attune any previously acquired piece of gear from the raid, improving its chances of dropping from any encounters. So they're going to have attunement also. So they're like doing so much with this raid, so much. Like this is like people don't understand. If you don't raid, you're like, okay, whatever. They skip the section of the TWID, but like imagine everything they're doing here if they brought into other parts of the game. And me being fair, I think they should bring in all this stuff to other parts of the game too. But I think it's really good because raid is a time investment, and I'm going to be talking more about time and what you should get per hour. And so at least with raid, since they're a big time investment, it does make sense to make this very more advantageous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking of you when I read this today. I was like, okay, Kingsley's going to be happy because I think we're going on our second attempt to run the Desert Perpetual on Saturday, right? I believe with our usual group.
We are.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm loving that raid so far. Just the 2 encounters that we completed, I love it. I love being involved in the encounters, and it's just a lot of fun jumping into that. I'm really happy with that so far, and hopefully we'll get a little further this time. Okay, Bungie rewards extension. Just know that if you want the jacket or the little carry-on bag there, you have until December 5th at reset to get your Desert Perpetual Bungie rewards for doing that, completing the raid. So there's the jacket. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty hideous looking jacket, but okay. The portal updates. Let me clear my throat here because this is the part I really got upset about. All right, Kingsley, here we go. Hey, Guardians, Portal dev team here. We see that you've been loving, checks notes, Caldera and K1 Logistics a lot. Maybe too much? What do they mean by the mines? The salty... Oh, no. Either way, in Ash and Iron, we're adding more variety to the portal, keeping all activities worthwhile, but also making them more time equivalent and risk and challenge equivalent while you progress your power. All right, so let's look at the pluses here. Here's the upcoming improvements that they're going to be doing. It's a better place when there are more options to play that what's optimal or close enough that you don't feel constrained to a handful of missions to play. We need Fireteam Ops to be a better place to play, either with your friends, with new friends via Fireteam Finder through matchmaking, or even as a solo Guardian wishing to do a solo strike. Some ops categories are going to get increased rewards, and some ops categories and activities are going to get slightly reduced rewards. Slightly is a very, very vague term. The solo ops dominance is especially stark between...
you're reading way more into it, I bet, than you should.
Well, we'll see. The solo ops dominance is especially stark between 400 and 450, and we're going to get into that part. Where the best way to attain a power is through prime engrams and getting A grades as fast as possible. We want to make this more interesting portion of the game, one that makes attaining prime engrams in the portal more rewarding. Okay, so good so far, right? Okay, let's continue on. Starting next week with update 9008, we are increasing the time limits in Fireteam Ops direct launch matchmaking tiers, giving players significantly more time to complete challenging match-made grandmasters. This should also help players reach A grades more consistently, resulting in better rewards. Good news. Additionally, we have some other improvements planned for the Portal and Ash and Iron going forward. And this is like a wish list they made. The time bonus system should give more value in trading off speed versus killing everything in kill-based activities and Fireteam Ops, and have a meaningful role in earning scores in Solo and Pinnacle Ops. They also want good grades in Fireteam Ops should be less risky and less challenging to get more than they are now, and closer to Solo and Pinnacle Ops activities. Third, Fireteam Ops should be at least as good a place to earn power as Solo or Pinnacle Ops, and match-made Fireteam Ops should be more viable at high power levels. The next one, the way that equip power and account power work is confusing. We're fixing that part. We would like more variety in Pinnacle Ops, including a way to earn Pinnacle Ops gear via matchmaking. Also, we would like to give more regular opportunities to match-made into marquee activities like Onslaught and the Coil. Those are the ones that take the most time, by the way. We want to make it easier and more obvious for everyone in the fire team to get the best rewards, even at wide power differentials. Next, we think various Banes, challenges, and boons should be well balanced against each other. Another one is we think there should be more things to do in general as we add brand new activities into the portal and bring older legacy activities in. We want to be able to feature those more effectively for daily power gain. And lastly, it would be great if conquests were repeatable for portal rewards. Amen. Okay, Ash and Iron updates. This is what's coming in Ash and Iron. Ultimate difficulty playlist will be dropping. It starts at power 451. So JD Kent, others out there that have reached the pinnacle cap already, this will be for you guys. This will also have new player stakes. One's called Pressure Cooker, finish under the time limit or get kicked to orbit. Just like the old, oh my God, it's just like the old Nightfall strikes. Holy crap, man, that is a pressure cooker. Another one is called Extinction. All players are limited to a single life. There are no revives. I can just see the yelling matches right now in Fireteam Finder on that one, but okay. Ultimate includes two new those are the 2 player stakes. These optional stakes are intended to provide the most significant challenge to even the most experienced Guardians and include score boosts to match. Okay, we'll just see how that plays out. Ultimate Fireteam Ops matchmaking will be open in week 10. I cannot wait to get hit Reddit after this. The week after Ash and Iron launches. Okay, so let's get into
but remember,
go ahead.
Since those are optional, those aren't going to be the match-made ones. You have to go in with a team to pick the optional.
I would highly suggest that modifiers. If you want to keep your sanity. Because talk about
not just highly suggest. You won't be able to remember match-made. You can't pick things. You can't. They just preset the modifiers. So if you want to pick optional modifiers, you have to bring a team in. So,
but they said that Ultimate Fireteam Ops matchmaking will be open in week 10, the week after Ash and Iron launches.
But they said that those are optional modifiers above. Matchmaking isn't the only way to go in. You can bring a pre-made fire team also, and then select the modifiers, the optional modifiers.
Okay, I'm good still. Okay, Ash and Iron. This is what's coming in Ash and Iron, the ultimate difficulty. We mentioned that. Okay, let's get into scoring. Platinum and Diamond reward ranks. Players can reach Platinum and Diamond reward ranks, which run from 450 to 499 power and 500 to 550 power, respectively. While in Platinum and Diamond, you can earn A+ grade in PvE. By the way, you're going to need that A+ to qualify for top tier 5 gear until Platinum 3, where A grades will start giving tier 3. Keep that in mind, guys. Once you have reached Diamond 1, B+ qualifies you for tier 5. Okay. And at Platinum 3, even a B will get you tier 5. Guaranteed tier 5s. We can't ask for more, right? Okay. So that's good. That's good news. Reward multiplier changes. Everybody drink. We're changing the reward multiplier to use account highest power rather than equip power to determine your basis of the multiplier. I don't know if I agree with this because what if you have something in? I mean, what if you have? Well, okay, I'll leave it alone for now. This applies to PvP in the portal also. You will still need to have new or featured armor to get up to a 10% scoring bonus. No swapping at the end of the activity. However, we track this value for the entirety of the activity. They'll be watching, guys. They're going to be watching you. There are 5 new portal score boosters in the Ash and Iron reward pass, but you don't lose your score boost if you got them in the Reclamation Pass, which I have all of them. You can still earn 3% for each of the new boosts, up to 15% total. If you're already at 15% score boost, you'll get enhancement cores instead of the boost. 10 enhancement cores. So, okay. That's a nice trade-off.
You know what's funny about this?
What's
and look
that?
at the GIF I put in the chat in Discord. Like, this is getting very complicated and convoluted.
Yeah. No, I followed
Like-
it. I followed it because I play this
And
every
I follow
day.
things well, but like, it's just, we're getting into a state where like
Mhm.
they're having to add more and more complication. Now, if it's the third week of the second month, if you want to do ultimate plus A minus plus grade,
Yeah.
you got to have a rewind modifier that's
Yeah.
active half of the time. You know, it's like,
And
I'm
if the
joking here, but,
barometric
like,
pressure is below 30 pounds. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Anyways, go on.
Okay. Oh boy. Reward multiplier changes. All right, let's talk about this. We're changing the reward we talked about that. Sorry. I'm just so wanting to get to the next part. Time limit adjustments. All activities have their time limit adjusted based on actual play data from the past few weeks. So they're just guarantees you that we're beta testers in the first parts of this Edge of Fate rather than the pre-Edge of Fate times. Many things are coming down to a reasonable level, looking at you 35-minute Starcross timer and you too 8-minute Caldera timer. Other things are increasing, Luminality, Inverted Spire, Onslaught to give you more time to get those bonus points. That is great because you get, I think, 10 or 15% bonus points if you get within the timer. I never worry about the timers, by the way, because I just gear everything up for A grade, and then all I have to do is just make sure I kill everything and just get the thing done.
But there are times where you need the timer. If you want to go for the super high stuff in the future, you'll need the timer to get to A+. So.
Yeah, we're going to need the A+ now. So yeah. Bonus timer will award a minimum of 5% score bonus for coming in under the timer. Well, there you go. In the future, we're looking at ways to help visualize this in a customized screen when looking at projected score. Okay, this is good. I like the new UI. I like that. That's good. Make it easier for people to understand all these damn buffs and takeaways and all this stuff. Loadout restrictions. When we launch Edge of Fate, we're worried about the effects of loadout swapping in the portal with Armor 3.0, so we have significantly increased the scoring value for lock loadout, making it very advantageous to play with. I use it on every time I play because what weapons I got are the weapons I'm going to use. Well, now they're going to bring it back down. So just let you know, people, I guess, have caught on to that. And now you're not going to get as much challenge multiplier on that going forward in Ashen Iron. Everything we're talking about here is Ashen Iron.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so much people catching on. Like I was kind of surprised too when I saw like it did 4 triangles. I'm like, come on, like 4. It's easy to have a locked loadout, so I think it makes sense to give less points for locked loadout.
I mean, if you're doing solo ops, they're so fast anyway. By the time you swap out stuff, it's okay.
I don't like locked loadouts, but still, I don't think
I don't like it either.
Worth the point that they were giving,
but it does
make sense.
You're getting a multiplier of 4 upward arrows, which is whatever that currency or whatever that figure means.
Yeah. And
I mean, that was the first thing. That was the first thing I would do to immediately get my score up or potential score up. We're also adding a selection of new loadout restrictions modifiers along these, starting with the expert tier. Some examples: explosive weapons, including rocket-assisted ones, medieval weapons, you can guess which ones those are, and Old West weapons. You guys know what those are. That is very exciting. Play with explosive weapons only, or play with swords only, or bows. That's fun. Or you have to play with certain armory type weapons. That is fun. That's called creating content and stuff to play, right? All of these also include restrictions for new and featured armor similar to Avant-Garde, but the weapons come from anywhere and anytime, even from 1963. Okay. They are adding a new loadout player state called Touché, which combines lock loadout with Avant-Garde restrictions. You know how everybody's been complaining to get rid of Avant-Garde? Nah, Bungie's doubling down, baby. Now they have a double tier where you can get locked loadouts and Avant-Garde. So you can't use any of your other weapons, just the ones from the current season. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Well, that's not going away as long as they have featured weapons and these seasons that change.
I understand. They want us to use the new gear. I get it. They're slowly trying to sunset everything. They're trying to slowly sunset everything in our vault, and slowly they're doing that because I'm running out of space in the vault just for armor. Anyway, do you think that's bad? Right? Well, it gets even better. Initially, the weapons included appropriate categories, but eventually we want to expand the value of these by taking into account specialized frames like the rocket pistol pulse above, or like perks like Dragonfly, Full Auto Retrofit, also case exotics, weapons like Vex Mythic Glass and Sunshine. Again, that sounds exciting. You're creating content, right? Data, experience, and rewards. So let's just break this down. They've been monitoring our play. And in a nutshell, what they're saying here is there's some Pinnacle ops, some fire team ops that are taking longer than they put the time limits up there, should take this much time. And these are what these graphs state right here. There's some solo ops activities too that probably take a little longer but if you look at the Pinnacle activity, all the durations are pretty closely tied together here. But it's clear that Encore, Starcrossed, and Whisper people are breezing through it too fast. God forbid us as gamers try to figure out how to get through stuff quickly and grind our power, right? Well, the fun police are here, guys. They're gonna make all of these, as far as reward wise. If you do get them, they're basically shortening the time on them, where you don't have as much variance. So, and right here, the Inverted Spire, Widow's Court, and Luminality are the ones you can see in this graph that have very variable curves, because you have players of different skill types. So some players that are really hardcore and play every day will easily get in this first bump, but then you have people over here later that aren't quite as good and experienced, I should say, not as good, but just not as experienced, who take a little longer and they don't get that score bonus. So they're going to basically, in a nutshell, they're increasing the rewards for the extra time. Luminality is increasing to 2. Inverted Spire is also getting increased to 2. And Onslaught, Widow's Court is increased to 4. This is the rewards, the engrams you're going to get. So that's nice. They're adjusting for that, right? Everybody drink. Okay. We'll be moving Onslaught and Crawls to Pinnacle Ops, both to create activities to gain Pinnacle loot from. Okay, we don't need to know any of that. They're going to move things around. Let's just know that. Power and rewards. New weapons and armor are coming to the portal with Ash and Iron. Good news. So there's going to be new gear in each of the portal activity categories. Look for a preview in a future TWID. As mentioned on the July 3rd TWID, 400 to 450 power will no longer be limited by prime engrams. You'll be able to level up to 500 via any portal activity, just like we do now, from 10 to 400, which is what grind I've been on. And then you'll have to do the prime engram march from 500 to 550. Prime engrams have two real functions right now. They are a random, rare chance to get a gear tier boost over what you would normally get, and they are a primary way of earning power once you get to 500. However, because they slide into your loot system without any fanfare, they can sometimes get lost. So starting in Ash and Iron, you're going to have to go to Raoul to turn in these special engrams. So, just like Destiny 1, you'll be able to go by and see what Raoul's got for you. What are you going to get in the engram? What are you going to get this time, right? What role am I going to get? All right, new activities and bonuses. Fire Team Ops activities. Is there going to be a brand new activity called Redacted? There's going to be more details in a future TWID.
They already told us the name. That's so funny. What was it called? Reclamation, I think, or
is that
something.
What it's called? I never knew.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. No, you never knew. We read it all the time. And that's
probably. 2 new battlegrounds, Behemoth and Echo Core. 3 new strikes, Hypernet Current, the Insight Terminus, Fallen Saber. 3 expeditions, Nessus, Cosmodrome, and Europa, and Tomb of Elders. The daily bonus focus mission will be more predictable. Bonus slot 1, random choice of blank mission. Bonus slot 2, random choice from a newly converted playground, battleground, strikes, and expeditions. And bonus slot 3, random choice from onslaughts and crawls. We're increasing the score multiplier for a kill scored activities by 5% to give players a little bit of breathing room, so you don't have to kill every enemy to get your score. In addition to this, match-made skill scored activities are boosted by an additional 5%. Good news all around. Pinnacle Ops activities, there's going to be some dungeon layers, 3 of them to be exact. They'll talk about those later. 2 exotic missions, Presage and Avalon. Okay, that's going to be good. Presage, okay. Pinnacle Ops also received 2 daily bonus focus activities, a random choice from a dungeon layer and alternating between Presage and Avalon.
Presage.
When I say Presage again?
Love
okay. Solo Ops.
The only reason
bonuses.
I remember that is because It was so funny on Guardian Hub back when that mission came out, and we were all trying to figure out how it's pronounced, and we found out pretty easily because Bungie said the pronunciation in the game. There's a voice line by, I believe, is it Saint or someone? But they say the pronunciation in the game.
Oh, okay. So it is Presage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, like I said.
All right. Okay. Solo ops bonuses. Solo ops is intended to be quick, reliable way to earn power when you have the time to kill at the start or end of a session, or need to complete a few objectives in a low-stress, low-commitment venue. It was never intended to be the above-all best method of leveling for all player types. But right now, the speed, ease, and consistency of earning top rewards is drowning out most of the other options, especially at 400 plus. To start balancing this with other portal activities, we are using a relatively light touch. Bullshit.
Well, you don't know. You can't say bullshit until you see it.
This one sentence made me rage today. They reduce power earned for a given grade in solo ops by 1 compared to Fireteam ops, Pinnacle ops, and Crucible. I don't know if you guys understand what that phrase just meant. Right now, if you get an A grade in a solo ops activity, which I always get A grades and everything, you'll get a +3 item. They're going to reduce that to +2. So effectively, what Bungie is saying to you there, in a very light-touched way, everybody's been complaining that the grind is taking too long. Well, don't worry, Bungie's going to fix that, guys. They just added 33% more time to your grind to 500 now. 33% longer it's going to take you now to get to that 500 mark.
If you only do solo ops.
If you only do solo ops. Here's the thing. I don't have time to run Fireteam ops in the morning. I got a half an hour to play. I got 45 minutes to play. This is the one thing
You have time.
This
Fire
is the
team
one
takes 15 minutes.
Not for me, because I'm soloing it. I'm soloing it because it's in the morning and I don't have time to get hooked up with a fire team. I sure as hell don't want to match make it because you don't know what you're going to get there.
You're just complaining.
And what happens is I get maybe one fire team ops game in if I decide to do it in the morning, and then I'm off to work. I got no more time. What I loved about solo ops is you could jump in, 8 minutes, you're done. You can get over 45 minutes, you can get 5 or 6 solo ops done in 45 minutes before you head to work in the morning. I was praising the rooftops. I was crying out from the rooftops and praising Bungie for making such an awesome system that helps us solo players earn gear to power up and through the grind. And now Bungie's like, well, now it's going to take a little longer. So everyone's been complaining how they can't get to the power 400 quick enough. Now it's going to be 33% longer for you to do it. Instead of that +3 item, you're going to get a +2 item for that A grade solo ops. What's up, Ruben stuff? I see you there, buddy.
It's not exactly that calculation because, first of all, the soft cap goes up to 2. So if you're counting it from 10, that's not fair because remember, the soft cap to 200, you can get anything very easily. So you only have to count from 200 to 400.
200 to 500.
Just 200 to 400.
Ashen Iron, because this is coming in Ashen Iron.
Well, yeah, that's true.
300 levels.
So Ashen Iron would be 200 to, it'd be 200 to, 500.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Believe me, I've already been thinking about this today. I was at work just steaming today. 33% longer for us solo players. Think about that. That is a long time. We're going to feel that. And I guarantee you, mark my words, Kingsley, in the middle of Ashen Iron, we're going to have an uprising of solo players that are going to complain. I guarantee you the YouTubers out there are going to be making so many videos about that one statement right there. So, paired with your changes to Fireteam ops, scoring other rewards tuning will need to take further adjustments as needed.
Yeah.
Totally ridiculous. This is exactly 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. This is typical Bungie stuff. You made something finally for the solo player, and now it's just too hot for you. What is Bungie so worried about? They've created such a grind that I don't even look at any activities to play. Now, if I was Bungie, what I would do here is I would just throw more rewards toward everything else. And then
they're doing that too.
Well, but the problem is we don't have the time to run Fireteam ops in the morning before we go to work. And I'm not talking for myself here. I know there's a lot of players I'm talking to right now. They're like, well, that hurt. I saw comments in the Destiny chat today that people were saying that TWAB hurt solo players because they briefly stated it. They did not. You notice they talk about, it's one sentence where they talk about how they're going to severely nerf solo ops, and they just moved right on like nothing was different. Now, for those of you who are already at 450, you guys have done all the grinding. God bless you, man. I mean, you guys we're killing it out there. And now for players who don't put the hours in every week and are hoping to get their power up so they can get that precious tier 4 and tier 5 loot, now it's just even more out of reach.
Yeah. All right. My turn. Most people wouldn't agree the word severely, even for 33%. But I think that math is a little wrong too when you count the 200 to 500. But also, you keep using the word afraid. They're not afraid, to be fair. They're wanting to have the game. They're not afraid of anything. So you don't need to use that word. They're wanting to have the game in a good state where they want to be fair and have the game in a good state, because imagine how bad it will be if the game gets to a place where everyone's only playing one activity in the whole game. The game would be in a very, very bad state.
No, it's real simple, man.
As everything, just like how you say they shouldn't have shotguns and stuff be a meta forever, they need to balance and change things back and forth. And these were in an unfair state compared to other things, so they're increasing a little more. You want to have time per hour, a fairness of like how many rewards you get.
I agree totally with you.
Solo ops take about 5 minutes. Fireteam op takes about 10 minutes, maybe 15.
More than that. If you're soloing it, it's going to take you half an hour.
Well, you don't need to solo. You're stupid if you're soloing it. You just do the matchmaking.
I'm by myself playing in the morning. What else am I going to do? Am I supposed to look for 2 other players in the Discord and play one game and say, okay, see ya, I'm out?
No, okay. Do you know how the game works? It auto matchmakes you.
Oh, no. I don't do matchmaking.
Why not?
Because I'll get the kindergartners in there that don't even are going and looking for tablets or something. And I'm like, what the hell, man? We need to get through this. We want to get this time bonus done. And they'll be over here. Or I got to love this part. The idol guardian who sits in the back and just lets everybody else do the work and then runs up at the last minute and gets his
doesn't hardly ever happen. I think you just had a couple bad experiences. Like I do the fire team ones a lot, and the matchmaking goes perfect. We get things done. It takes like 10 or 15 minutes. So you should have a certain amount of rewards for a 5-minute activity, a certain amount of rewards for a 10 or 15-minute activity, a certain amount of rewards for raids, and they're fixing that. And if they don't do that, then the game's going to be in a very, very bad state. There's only one solo op. And it wasn't even just solo ops in general. People were only playing one solo op because it was the quickest one. So not only do they need to do this change, but they need to do the changes where certain solo ops give more rewards than other solo ops, to be fair, because it needs to be related to how much time a specific one takes.
Well, all I know, Kingsley, is we got Borderlands 4 coming. We got in September during Ash and Iron, just a week later, we've got Battlefield 6, which may not be your game, but it will be mine. We got a lot of games coming down the pike. I don't care about the new Call of Duty, but here's the thing. And Taja, you may think this is a bad argument. No, it's not a bad argument, because what you do in a looter shooter game is you don't penalize people playing the way they want. What you do is you make other forms of the game much more rewarding. And that means letting us do let us do the solo ops in the morning, because that fits our play style. That fits our time that we have to play the game. That gives everyone all different varieties of way to play this game. And then, hey, if I want to spend just one game playing Fireteam Ops, and I know I'm going to get 5 Ingrams, basically the equivalent of me playing 4 of the solo ops, then I'm all for it. I might actually play that one game of Fireteam Ops if I know that I'm going to get 5 or more Ingrams for my time. They're adjusting it up a little bit. Up 1, up 4 in the onslaught missions. They're going 4 on that. Some of them it's working out really great, but they to penalize the solo ops players. This does not make sense.
He wasn't even talking about that. He thinks it's silly that you go into the fire team ops solo. Like, I think it's silly too.
Dude, what's the one thing I've always said that I love about this new solo ops is the fact I can play a strike by myself. They even mention it in the TWAB. If you want to jump in and do a strike for yourself. I realize if I go try to play Onslaught solo, that's a fool's errand because it's going to take forever to get through all those levels. But if I want to go play a strike on my own, I should be able to do that. You can't
barely use that argument against normal fire team ops, how most people play fire team ops. Most people will do the matchmaking for fire team ops. So to be fair, you can't say a fire team op averages 30 minutes. It does not. It averages 10 to 15 minutes.
If that was the case, Kingsley, why is fire team ops the worst way to power up right now?
Why is it the worst way?
Nope. You listen to the streamers. You listen to the content creators. They're saying, stay out of fire team ops. Stay out of fire team ops. It's ridiculous. It's terrible.
The question. The reason why it's the worst way is because solo ops unfairly gives the same amount of rewards.
Well, they're increasing the rewards. I hope it's majorly increased the rewards. But
yeah,
the thing is they're turning their backs on a lot of solo players out there. You know, the streamers who are playing all day, they want to play fire team ops. But I can see him. I can see Astercross when he's in there playing fire team ops. He's looking at his watch. He's like, man, I could be getting a lot more stuff done, man, right now. Instead of, somebody died. Somebody died again over here. We have to go pick them up.
5 minutes versus 10 minutes for them, and it really is that much of a small difference for the good players when you do a fire team versus a solo. Actually, for them, solo is probably like 3 minutes. They wanted to go from like 10 minutes to 3 minutes.
I'm just gonna tell you right now. This may kill my grind. This may kill me grinding this game. Because if I know I got only way I can get very powerful drops from here on out and get more effective leveling means I have to match make it. You just defeated the reason why I like solo ops. I'm not anti-social. It's just I have very limited time in the morning. I know McMaximo, he's a truck driver. He has very weird hours that he jumps on the game. And unless he wants to pull people from Germany or somewhere in the Middle East, he games at the strange times of the day sometimes, and he wants to be able to jump in and play solo ops. That's just two people I'm speaking of. There are a ton of solo players out there that really were happy that there was a solo ops that gave you effective power. Now it's going to take us 33% longer to do the same thing that we've been doing. That's not a good
argument either. I played in the middle of the night, and I'm not pulling weird people with fire team ops.
Dude, there's a reason. There's a reason I call 1 a.m. on the East Coast the witching hour in Crucible, because you start getting players from the weirdest places.
Different.
It's matchmaking. For sure, but it's matchmaking.
No, because the population's bigger in PvE than Crucible. Always.
That may be. But the later you play, wherever you live, if you're on night shift and you can only play at 4 a.m., I guarantee it's not going to be the same experience if you're playing at 9 to 12 p.m. It's not the same experience. And I'm just saying I just mark my words. I'm telling you, Bungie is going to revert back on this. They're going to revert back if they don't want to lose a shit ton of players, because this is ridiculous. Nerfing solo ops that much.
People won't even notice it.
They're going to notice
only
it.
People in the community that read the TWID and keep up with things and stuff. I also think, though, even though I think it's the arguments you're making for auto match-made fire team is false, but at the same time, to be fair, if you're going to go into a fire team ops solo, I think you should get more rewards for that also, because it's taking more time.
JD Kent,
because I'm all about fairness.
JD Kent's at 450. He said the problem I had with fire team ops was the other players running through so fast trying to speed run it that they don't get a high enough score. And guess who's tied into that? JD Kent. Now, because of the other people speed running it, not realizing that it's a kill-based score modifier, now he just wasted his time, because the two players he match made with ran through thinking that going through it quickly was how you did it, when the key was killing enemies, killing your champions. What else is there to say?
That's happened to me once or so. But so with fire team ops, because you cut me off a little bit there, but what should happen is you should get a certain amount, the least rewards with solo, because if they're only 5 minutes, and then more rewards with match-made fire team. Solo fire team ops, you should get even more rewards. I agree, because if it's taking you half an hour, because solo, you're doing more work. So you definitely should get more rewards there. And then it should all be about time per stuff spent. Maybe the game just needs to see how hard the activity is and how much time you're spending that gives you rewards, you know, because if you don't want it to be on a fair system of time per rewards, then people will go too far the other way where they say like, okay, let's have a solo op that's 1 minute and get the same amount of rewards. Oh, let's have a solo op that's 30 seconds and get the same amount of rewards, you know?
Well, I know I'm giving you leeway here because I know you're not a grinder. I know this isn't your thing. You're just going to go play another game. You don't care about the grind as much. And if something falls, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. But I'm just saying, man, when you start introducing things that you have to matchmake for, you're opening up a whole new can of factors and a whole new can of crap. I'm just saying, it's just a totally different thing.
Have you tried the matchmaking?
I have.
Lately?
Yeah, I've tried it.
Oh, yeah.
I did a few because I had to get stuff for my Guardian rank. I had to do certain activities.
Yeah.
But like I said,
I was even doing matchmaking master activities, and they generally work well. Of course, they're not going to work well every single time. You know,
I'm just saying, penalizing people who play in solo ops is not the way to do it, Bungie. What you do is you make other things more attractive because we as gamers will go to what's the most attractive for our time. And yes, you're making some changes here in Ash and Iron, and I also hope that you're adding these things to the portal and not taking away other things. I think there should be a lot more things to do in the portals, no matter what, if it's solo ops, fire team, or whatever. And they're saying they're adding all these things to the portal activities. They need to just continue to keep piling on more and more things. If you put in stuff and then immediately take away other stuff that you're used to playing, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I want to have a lot of different things that I want to play so I don't get burned out. Not play the same stuff for 6 months during a season and have to wait for the new stuff to come 6 months later.
I warned about that a long time ago. Yeah. Are people just finally noticing that now? But and with weapons too, more and more people are going to get upset when the weapons change with the next DLC. You know, they're not the featured weapons anymore. And then when you have to do the conquests that require all new gear only, and then people are used to their weapons that they like, and they're like, oh shit, I got to use the new weapons now. Not the new weapons, but the new weapons.
Hey, I understand why they're doing that. I'm okay with that. That's just a way of making sure that you're enjoying the loot that you're earning in the game right now. I totally get that. And other than a heavy weapon, I'm using all the featured stuff. I always use the featured stuff except the heavy weapon because I don't like the machine gun. And I like the Void machine gun, the commemoration, because I use a lot of Void buffs, a lot of Devour and stuff when I play I have a survivability build. Everything I do is about survivability because not only do I want to be brazen where I can run in there and know that I've got, some health coming back when I do finally run toward that boss and kill him. I just want to have that, I just want to have a little bit of options of how I want to play, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to keep moving here because I don't want to dwell on one thing. People are probably tired of hearing me complain about it, but this was just a major blow today. This is a major blow. They already have people dropping out of the portal activities because they don't feel like, they're playing Destiny anymore. It's about the mines. It's about grinding the mines. Well, now you're going to be adding the mines and adding on top of that matchmaking. And for a lot of solo players out there, we don't like matchmaking. We want to be able to jump in whenever we want and enjoy the content and get our rewards and get out. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to stop. Let's keep going. Contest update. The Grandmaster Conquest round, out the requirements for the Conqueror title. Those are going to be coming out too to get to Guardian rank 11, which you need to get that. And all conquests will be replayable. Thank the Lord, because I've got a couple blacked out that I did too early, and I know I missed out on some good gear there. Just trying to get Guardian rank stuff done. But you will earn normal scored portal loot though for additional completion. So 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Future changes. We know the portal needs even more tuning and some things just to take longer to build. Even expect the following on the weeks after Ash and Iron's launch: a scoring tuning pass on all modifiers. We'll see how that works out. Onslaught the Coil, Tomb of Elders will be moving from Fireteam Ops to Pinnacle Ops. They will get their own score bonus slot in Pinnacle Ops. Just like in Fireteam Ops, the featured activity in the slot will get matchmaking. Bonus slot 3 in Fireteam Ops will be replaced by a random choice from the rest of the Fireteam Ops, and a new solo operative score boost in Fireteam and Pinnacle Ops for solo players. There's a shining star right there. If there's one shining star, there's going to be a modifier for those of us who do jump into Fireteam Ops as solo players. We'll see what that adds. And I like solo
Well, there
operators.
was lots of shining stars in this 12. There was like 10 good things you said before you got to the thing you didn't like.
Well, like I said, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. It's an improvement, yes, but there's been a lot of damage that's been done today. The launch of Renegades Season 1, Lawless, will feature even more improvements and tuning to the portal, plus bunches of other exciting changes. We'll be back to talk more about those very soon. They have something called the Seasonal Archive, which will be right next to the Monument of Lost Light, where you can get your old exotics, from past stuff. This is pretty cool. I like what they're doing here. It's basically a place where you can go and get all of your past cosmetics, your ornaments, your armor ornaments and stuff that maybe you forgot to pick up from past seasons that you played, or if you didn't play a season and you want to get some cool ornaments, they've got a way you can earn a currency here where you can actually buy some of the pieces. Doesn't take money, and if you played all the seasons, this is all free to you guys. This is just a way for you to come in here and get some of your archived ornaments, from a lot of ornaments, either for your weapons or your armor. And I think there's some other stuff in here too. Would they give an example here? I think, yeah. If you get this you're going to give you some currency to start with, and if you're not going to use this currency, then you can use it to buy stuff in the store here. Extra shaders, some emotes, some exotic emotes, maybe even some catalysts and stuff. So that's good for us that have played every season from here, probably 10 years ago or whenever they started seasons. We'll be able to use the currency here to get some other things as well.
Yeah, this is so cool. You know why it's so good?
Yeah, why?
I had to make a comment about this because this is something that we've been doing with the Wayback Machine indirectly with the API.
Mm-hmm.
And the smartest thing a company can do is see what third-party people are doing through APIs and then integrate that directly into their system. And so they saw that a lot of people had reasons to get old stuff from the season passes that they didn't get. So Bungie was brilliant adding this into the game.
This is very good.
And nothing but pluses here for sure.
That was an example of the actual, the chronologues is the currency you get. This is an example of the seasonal archive. But if you have all this currency that you're earning and you don't need it because you've got all the stuff like I do, then you can get it for some nice items here. And I'm telling you, I like the fact that they're giving harmonizers here because there's a lot of weapon frames that I still need to get from weapons I have in my vault. I need some Spoils of Conquest too, but that's beside the point. But you can buy them here as well. I like this. This is very good for us that are us, players who've been here a long time and have all that stuff already. But it's very cool for new or returning Guardians who missed some seasons. Mayhem is going to be in the playlist starting tomorrow. Starting next week. Trials of Osiris tomorrow will be Cirrus, I believe, Cirrus Plaza. So jump in there. I've heard that actually losing in Trials gets you some really good gear. So I don't know, maybe check into that. I might test it just to see how it works. But that's something everyone should know. Known issues list, player support report. I do have a few things here I wanted to mention. I know I usually say shit's broken, but the class armor stat is scaling in increments instead of per point. That is big. I really hope they get that fixed soon, because now that our class items actually give us some power when we're build crafting stuff, that's big. So the other things are a lot of cosmetics, some audio issues and some of that. We don't need to really get into that. So basically shit's broken there. We have our artist of the week, and man, I have dreams about this stupid new enemy. The swarms, I've been fighting so many of those in the Grandmaster playlist. So it's pretty good. There you have it. Another twit is complete. We hope the news around the portal and the incoming additions to the Desert Perpetual got you all excited. We're working hard on our next update. Mouth not work, as well as Renegade. So the systems we implemented with the Edge of Fate keep growing and working better. Your feedback is very valuable, so don't hesitate to let us know your takes on the news we shared today. Keep it coming. Destiny 2 community team. And as much as I say shit about Bungie, I do love that they communicate with us every week. So thank you, Destiny 2 community team, as always, for communicating with
you hardly
your
say
players.
any shit.
I don't ever say things. I'm always pumping Bungie up, but when I read that today in the TWAB, I was irate. So,
and it's fair to feel how you feel, and then it's fair for me to give an opinion also. Yep.
I'm sure I'm going to have a major headache after this because I'm sure my blood pressure got up. I'm sure it got up there. But I mean, I appreciate the fact, I appreciate that you have different takes on this stuff, man. I'm not discounting. I don't mean to cut you off, man. I just get really passionate about this stuff because I'm playing it every day, man. I don't play any other game but Destiny. So anyway,
and
hopefully
I can, and I'm always fair about my arguments. I play solo ops too. And if that's all I played, I would still be fine with this change because sometimes you got to make the changes on both ends,
right?
Well,
yeah, I know I might have been obnoxious in that, reading that TWAB, but, wait till we get to our topic of the week, which we're doing right after this.
Howdy folks, this is MC Squared and you're listening to Guardian Downcast.
All right, for our topic of the week, for this week's topic, as I'm approaching that elusive 400 power mark, playing mostly solo ops, like I talked about earlier, playing about half hour in the morning and a couple hours at night, just for reference. I was scouring YouTube this week and I ran into a video from Jixer Clyde. I don't know if you know this guy. He's an older dude like me. He loves helping others, especially in raids. I used to sub to his Twitch channel a long time ago, and we had some good conversations with him in chat. He came from a construction work like I did, by the way. He owned a construction company, and now is a popular Destiny streamer today. I'm sure most of you guys know who I'm talking about. He's all about speeding up the grind to be able to jump right into high-level activities like raids, and he's very, very helpful. He's helped so many people get through raids and stuff. He's genuinely a very good Sherpa. He released a video this week that had was talking about how we grind to reach that pinnacle 450 number. He talked with several of his community members that have already reached 450 as to what great rewards are you going to get once you reach that pinnacle cap? Because that's why I grind, right? I mean, my idea was get to 450 or 400 to 450 and then just sit back and then start enjoying all this tier 4 and tier 5 loot, right? Just everything I do is going to get tier 4 and tier 5 loot. Well, what I heard was very shocking. There's several things that I did not realize, and I wanted to make sure I shared those with you guys tonight. And Kingsley, I certainly want your take on this as well, but I'm just going to go through a few of them here. And Kingsley, just stop and stop me whenever you want to jump in. Okay, man?
Sounds good.
Number 1, Kepler drops. Everything in Kepler, regardless if you're over 300 power or what, will drop at 300. If you do get a nice 300 drop, has a really good roll from RNG, it's going to cost you 11,381 unstable cores to infuse a 300 piece to 450. I have about 98,000 of those unstable cores currently. And he mentioned that it cost him about 300,000 unstable cores for each of his other characters. Whoa, that is a lot of unstable cores. I don't know if I'm going to ever have that many. Secondly, the siege activity, which I haven't played yet. You will get tier 5 drops if you're at 450 power, but they only fall at 300 power. And remember, you're at a negative 15 delta, by the way. So even though you're playing that delta against your own self, you're only getting 300 power gear. I was just curious for you guys who are 450 power. They keep talking about a loot cave on Kepler. Does anyone know where this is? I've just been buried in solo ops.
I think it's when you first go down to the right, it's and I could be wrong, but this is the one I saw Astros doing. It's in that building down to the right where, remind me, Tajo, you're in the chat where you do the little mechanic where there's Vex and then there's like a Vex boss. No, it's not that one. Okay. Anyways, but while we're figuring out that on the thing so far, I do think it's a little odd that Kepler only drops 300. Yeah. In some ways, it makes sense because it's not. Is it in the portal? I mean, it kind of is, but not technically. It's not like listed in those. It's not like, even though it's on like the portal screen, it's not listed as like a solo op or a fire team op or whatever. But it's kind of sad because it is a new thing. And the fact that they couldn't do higher drops in Kepler does seem a little odd to me.
I just thought I was flabbergasted. I think things should drop at your power.
I already knew that.
At least at your power level, at least, because you've earned it. You've busted your ass to get to 450, and that is not easy, guys. You know how many pinnacle gear drops? to get for
That could have just
400.
been a misstep, like they didn't plan that good enough or something.
I
Maybe not. I mean, you think, yeah.
I under the staircase where you load in. Thank you, JD Kent.
Thank you, JD Kent.
That's he's one of our 450 players. It's just ridiculous. You should always, once you're at a certain power level, everything should drop at that power level, unless it's from like, even a seasonal reward loot should be at power. I mean, but if you're getting like basic stuff, if you're running patrols and you're getting gear out of, high value target drops, understandable. That should be at 200, right? I totally get that part.
No, I would even say
but
that could be at level.
But if you're, well, think about it. If it was a level, people play more of this game. Imagine that. What I'm saying
maybe
is,
one minus.
You're on the new world. You're playing the new activities. I'm going to be sitting there in Kepler grinding out all of these triumphs that I got to get done to get this new title, Fated Weapon, and to have everything drop at 300. I'm not going to have enough. I'll just tell you right now, I'm not going to have enough unstable cores to power up all my gear that I want. So I don't know what I'll do with it. I guess I'll just throw it away. If it's a really good roll, maybe just hide it for another day, but there's a problem with that. My vault's already at 689 of 700. So then I got to start deleting weapons that I know I love to play and use in the Crucible, which means I got to start making choices, Anyway, another one. Trials at 450. You can lose games and get tier 5 gears. Win streaks at the Lighthouse were dropping tier 3 and tier 4 loot. But a good source right now for 450 players. So that's the one highlight. If you don't like to play Crucible, too bad, because Trials and Comp right now is what I'm hearing is where you're getting a lot of good tier 5 gear, which is great. That's the reason we all bust our butt to get to 450 is to start raining that loot, right? So we can start build crafting some really badass builds. That was my goal the whole time when I'm grinding all this power. But I've heard the way to power up beyond 400, we all know is Pinnacle Engrams, and it's very slow getting them. I've heard people say they get 3 out of 20 runs. So what I'm gonna do once I hit 400, I'm gonna play the Kepler activities, working towards my title between now and Ash and Iron, and I'm hopefully gonna get some of those Pinnacle drops. But I heard there's a problem; it only drops at 300 loot. So forget that plan. So I guess I'm just gonna be doing busy work and just forget about my 400 power for now, I guess.
Well, you should, this close to Ash and Iron, you should forget anyways, because it's going to be upping soon. But
yeah.
What do you, on the Trials thing real quick, what do you think should happen? Because I do think that there should be, even for loss of games, again, power per hour, but I do think you should be able to get the tier of the classification you're in from time to time, maybe just give you a better chance if you win game. What do you think should happen?
I misspoke. It is Prime Engrams, not Pinnacle. If I keep saying Pinnacle Engrams, I mean Prime Engrams. Sorry. Thanks for telling me that, Tajo. I think absolutely, if you're 400 or higher power and you make it to the Lighthouse, you should get tier 5 gear. I got spoiled because I was getting tier 4 and a little bit of tier 5 stuff during Solstice. And now that's just like the floodgates switch has been turned off. It's back to the grind now.
Well, they weren't saying no one was getting tier 5, but I think they were giving a couple examples because I watched the video.
Yeah.
I mean, you will get tier 5 with wins sometimes also.
Sometimes.
Are you just saying
it's not absolute?
Well, you won't,
it's not absolute.
And it's not absolute for losses either. So we don't want people
that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
But I remember 2 very high level players were playing Trials one weekend with Astrocross, and Astrocross was already at 425 or something. And it was really sucked because they went to the Lighthouse and all of the other 2 guys, which weren't quite that power, they were probably at, 300, 320 or something, were getting tier 3 loot. And Astrocross, which let's face it, they pretty much carried him. I mean, he's a good player. He kicked my ass, I'm sure, in Crucible, but he was getting all tier 5 stuff. So, that's
just the classification you're in of what your power level is.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's all power based. So, I think if you're lucky enough to go flawless to the Lighthouse, if you're on that 7-game win streak, absolutely no questions asked, you should get tier 5 loot, no matter what level. I would say if you're above 200, you should be able to get it, because that is very hard to do. That's a Pinnacle Crucible activity, which is not even power enabled anymore. And now let's say you get a 4-win streak, which I've done several times going to the Lighthouse. I think maybe tier 4 should be guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're
That's a good idea.
if you're win loss and you just get the 7 to add up, then whatever power level you're at, it should be indicative of what you get. If you're at 200, it should be tier 3 stuff or tier 2 stuff. But right now, well, from what I'm hearing from the 450 players, is that is where all the good loot drops are getting right now, is through competitive Crucible, and you have to be at platinum, I believe, to start getting tier 5s guaranteed, and of course Trials of Osiris, which is only on the weekends. So I think that's a good idea. Obviously, you should get way more of a chance or a guaranteed drop if you win. But I also think that there should be a chance if you lose to get it also. Right.
I don't think it should be only based on wins. I also think it should be based on completions.
Okay.
But obviously a lower chance if you do a loss completion versus a win completion. Think about too, if you put it this way, you're doing a solo op and you, for some reason, get a B instead of an A tier thing. You don't want to get no reward at all. You should just get maybe a little bit less chance of reward or something. So,
yeah. From playing Solstice alone, just for the 2-week period, I have 5 tier 5 year tied Apex submachine guns. I got several of them. I got a tier 5 Fortunate Star combat bow, several Festival Flight grenade launchers. I got gauntlets and class items, all from Solstice in tier 5, and I was only at 340 something power, I think, when I started playing Solstice. So, but I have a lot of really good tier 4 armor and weapons too. And I got to tell you, tier 5s, yes, they have their really nice things, and it's definitely a bragging right when you get tier 5 gear. But I got to tell you, tier 4 loot is really damn close. If you're worried about build crafting stuff, just worry about tier 4 gear. That's just from experience, from what I've got. I've got tier 5. I've got a tier 5 class item that has 101 power with everything jacked up on it. But I have a tier 4 boots that I have a 99 power, a 99 stat on, because it's focused in certain areas that I like. So tier 4 will still get you really, really powerful builds if you're trying to build craft and start putting your gear tiers together and start stacking up. I know you're not supposed to play with health, but I got like 187 health because I'm a warlock. I got a survivability build. I like getting my shields back very quickly. And the power of my overshield is much stronger because I'm over 140. So I know that's not the way to grind, not the way to put a build together now, but I'm just trying to get through these activities so I can start getting this tier 4 and tier 5 loot. So, another thing he mentioned, tier 5 weapons and armors is all RNG because you can get really crappy rolls of it. It's all left to chance and it's not focusable. That is huge. You should be able to focus, at least if you need a pair of legs that has a brawler characteristic to it, and you're trying to build into that melee stat. You should be able to at least, focus for leg armor and not be, because these I want to say pinnacle, these prime engrams are very rare that they do drop. And when they do drop, it's all up to chance. It's all strictly RNG. So that's crap. You should be able to focus that stuff. I mentioned if you grind your comp score to platinum level, you'll get tier 5s as well. But here's the thing I wanted to mention, and it's probably we already probably know this now that we went over the TWAB. Do not, for those of you out there grinding right now that aren't at 450, do not grind past 400, because as soon as Ashen Iron drops, you'll be able to easily go from 400, I say easily in quotes, easily go from 400 to 500 with progress like you were under 400. So why grind past 400 before Ashen Iron, which is exactly what I just mentioned I'm not going to do. Now, I've been hearing about prime drops not falling, but every 15 or higher rounds once after 400. So I'm not going to worry about 400 to 450 right now until Ashen Iron drops. Another thing I'm looking forward to also is Iron Banner will be coming with the new Ashen Iron. And I'm sure they're going to offer ways for us to get tier 5 gear in that as well. I'm just curious to see what power levels are going to start offering tier 5 gear. Because if you remember, Iron Banner only lasts for 1 week now. And it's probably going to have one of those home bays, like the events, like the solstice and like the heavy metal coming up next week. And the weapon, the weapon week, whatever. What's it?
Arms Week.
Arms Week. Thank you. The Arms Week. It'll probably be in the same. I have a feeling that's why they've delayed Iron Banner, because they're going to have it in that own thing where you can earn rewards, separately. But it's only going to be a 1 week event, I'm pretty sure, unless they state differently soon. So that might be another source for tier 5 if you already have, 400 plus power. But like I mentioned earlier, vault space is going to be a big problem, because as you're gathering all this tier 4 and tier 5 armor, you got to have a place to put it. And like I said, I think maybe they're talking about in Renegades that they're going to increase the size of our vaults, which probably will be too little too late. So that's another concern once you hit 450 and you start getting random drops and stuff from your prime engrams. I don't know how they're going to do that as well. One thing they did say as well, this is just community members that are giving them feedback from what they've observed so far grinding to 450. Once you reach 450, it's still not efficient to play with others. So what are they? I guess they're supposed to go back to solo ops to start hoping that they get tier 5 gear, I guess. Is that the only way they can get tier 5 gear? You know what? When I imagine, and I was even singing the praises of Bungie that, hey, you want that tier 5 armor? Just get to 450. Just get to 450. Once you get to 450, the loot's going to be raining from above. You're going to be getting all this tier 5. You ain't going to know what to do with it. But it sounds to me from this video I watched from Jixer Clyde and talking to his community members that Bungie is not rewarding people that have reached the pinnacle caps. Not like I thought they would. And just like they are nerfing solo ops in Ash and Iron, I don't know, like I said, I don't know what they're afraid of, that people will get too much tier 5 loot. What are they going to go away and not play the game? No, they're going to build craft really cool stuff in the game. I just don't understand why Bungie sets this premise to get to this golden ring. And once you grab the golden ring, it's not exactly what you thought. And you have any thoughts on this, Kingsley?
I think I know what happened there. I think that actually was maybe a bug. Now, I don't know for sure, but here's why I think it might be, because it was supposed to be, they never said it was going to be raining loot, but of course that's the assumption once you get to 450. But we did know for sure that the grind was going to be a lot lower between 4 to 450. And then also Bungie had programmed into Ash and Iron that the grind was going to go up to 550. So I'm guessing what happened was they had a bug where 450 was the same as 449, if that makes sense, right? It's just dropping the lower amounts. This will, of course, be fixed when Ash and Iron comes out, and hopefully 550 will be fixed too, so it'll actually drop.
I hope it's just a bug, because
that's my theory.
When after I listened to this video from his community members, I'm like, I was deflated. I'm like, why am I killing myself to grind? Why?
Well, I mean,
when this is what they're running into, this is the life of a 450 grinder, is waiting, just the inefficiency of and the lack of what's the word am I thinking? Constant or consistent loot that you should be getting because you reach 450. That should be a bragging right. You should be getting all kinds of loot in tier 5. It shouldn't be a question. You should just be automatically getting tier 5 loot.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. That I'm sure that was probably a bug. We'll maybe hear more, but the fact that they didn't even mention that in the TWID also is actually kind of good news, because if they were going to draw a hard line on that one, then they might have mentioned it in the TWID. Right. So okay. I think we'll be past this, come September 9th. And then let's just hope that 550 will be different than 549, where right now 450 is the same as 449.
Okay. I just wanted to let people out there know, and I'm sure JD Kent and Tajo Trade, a lot of our players that already reached that 450 mark, I'm preaching the choir here, but just take your time, guys. Don't kill yourself out there to get to that 450 mark. Just have fun. Play what you want to play. Play solo ops before it gets majorly nerfed, I guess, before next week, or I guess Ash and Iron is when it comes out. Hopefully it'll give us a couple
weeks.
Less
than 33% nerf.
Somewhere around 33%, give or take a few percent. But that's big.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, and I agree. Like the thing that there's a lot of people just need to be relaxed. Like it's okay to have goals and grind and stuff, but there's still a lot of situations where people getting in that they think they have to grind to that level. You don't. If you really want to and you have that as a goal, great. But there's a lot of times where people might feel peer pressure, or they might feel like they need to, or else they won't enjoy the game. And then if they do it too fast or in a way that's not fun,
right,
it might actually backfire and they might actually burn out and start hating the game. So definitely take it at your pace. Like that's why I know I don't need to grind, because I'm not going to enjoy that. But I've seen too many people that have actually left the game because they thought they liked that and then they got burnt out or something.
Okay.
I did have a goal to get, so I was going to be fine in the 200s. Here's a perfect example. And I was kind of like floating around 260, 280.
Mm-hmm.
But then no one was doing that 300 test. So I had a goal. I made a personal goal to get to 300. It was slightly painful for me. I didn't have that much fun,
right,
but it was still kind of fun because then I was able to report on that data.
Yeah.
Now that I'm at 300, I do not care in the slightest to grind at all. I'm just going to chill at 300. Obviously I'll be doing the new Ash and Iron reclamation activity, all that new stuff. And I'll, of course, go up some just naturally.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I won't be going up, but I won't be grinding either. And I'm happy with that.
Okay. I've said my piece. Like I said, I thought that video was very good. Letting us know
it was pretty good.
What's actually going to be there once you hit 450, and it's not what you thought, guys. It's not what you thought. So,
and hopefully temporary and a bug.
Exactly. Hopefully it is a bug. Hopefully won't be talking about this in the future. I want to transition to a story that you had, Kingsley, about speaking of grind and the enthusiasm to play Destiny game. It was just mentioned that Destiny Rising just hit 10 million pre-registered players.
Yeah, that's crazy. I even signed up for pre-registration when I saw the news.
No.
Here's the thing, like, there's not much to say about it. I really don't think I'll be into the game, because no way am I going to get hooked by a grindy game. And I certainly don't get hooked by gacha type mechanics where, it's like, let's buy this thing and see if you get a good roll or whatever, or a good pull is what they call it. But I'm still interested to check out some of the missions. I mean, they have sparrow racing in the game.
That's
they have things that people have been asking for forever.
That's what I heard.
And so I think it was just interesting though that the game has 10 million pre-registrations. And so something's interesting here. Yeah. And one of the reasons there's probably multiple reasons why it's only on mobile, but one of the big reasons is, can you imagine if it was on PC, it would almost potentially cannibalize regular Destiny, because if they have all these things that regular Destiny doesn't have, like sparrow racing and other things, like, I'm not saying it would for sure do that, but with 10 million pre-registrations and everything and a total free-to-play game, it could get in a state where everyone's like, you look at Steam and it's like no one's playing Destiny, but everyone's playing Destiny Rising. And so I actually think it's probably good that it's not on Steam, because it'll be a better marketing package being only on mobile. I don't really think it's going to have that much of a crossover one way or the other, but for the small amount of crossover that it does, it should just stay on mobile, and that'll be good for it. But 10 million, can you believe it got that much?
That's a lot. That's a lot of people. And I might actually look into BlueStacks and maybe look into an emulator and play it on PC.
You can emulate it.
I may do that, but I actually was one of the people chosen to try the game out in the pre-beta. And the controls I played it on my phone. The controls were really pretty intuitive. I was surprised. It literally, you turned it sideways and you can do a lot of stuff just like a controller. And even has a gyro built into it where you can use a gyro in your phone. It's really nice. I don't know. All I do know is that they don't have limits on materials to farm. Imagine that. People who like to farm materials and just have lots of materials.
They said they didn't know that for sure. They were they were assuming that, but yeah.
It'd be smart if they did that.
Is that wrong? That's what one guy was assuming, but another guy
I've heard all kinds of things, but I just wanted to get that dig in.
Because everything has a limit. There's some point you can't have as many 9s on the screen. It'll run out of space on the screen.
It's just an icon with a number above it.
But no, do you see what I'm saying, though? That you'll run out of space on the screen if there's truly no limit.
Well, okay, but no, all you would have to do is go, let's just say enhancement cores. You'd have one icon for enhancement cores, and you'd have 90,384 of them. Not 999, 999, 999. I don't know why they do it that way, but there's something in the coding, I guess.
Well, I told you lots of times. You forget. I mean, once they can get a better engine, then they can go one more decimal point a lot easier. Yeah. No, I know so.
It's that simple? It's just an engine issue?
Oh my gosh, I told you that so many times. There was a Reddit post a long time ago and Ask Me Anything, an AMA about a developer on Destiny. And that's why the way memory works, it takes way more memory having an additional pointer than having another stack, because you can reference in the same memory space additional stacks versus an additional comma or additional pointer that way. Yep. And with how limiting the engine is, the developer was pretty much saying that was the case. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong, but I remember them saying that. So now you can still, there's two things going on here. There's the technical limit of the 999, but then there's also, you can have unlimited stacks. And yes, some things don't have unlimited stacks, like 999 and then a second stack of 999.
No, like strange coins, 199 and it grays out. And any strange coins you earn in the portal activities, they just sit there on the ground and you wave bye to them as you go to orbit.
Yeah, so that's more of a logical decision. But on the technical side, it makes sense to me why the current engine can only do 999.
Let's just say,
and then it has to.
I can't even remember the terms in Destiny half the time. I'm sorry, Kingsley, if I don't remember that. When you telling me that, I know you're more analytical than I am, and this is what you're into. You're into software and hardware applications, and I'm just a service tech. I just service stuff in the hot Florida sun outside, so I don't quite get that stuff as much as you do. But I mean,
it's the same thing about Vault. That's why it's really hard to get Vault space. Yeah. And they also said, but not only are they giving us a little more Vault space in Renegades, but didn't they say that's when the supposed fix is coming too? So we won't have to worry about it as much, or is that after Renegades? I'm trying to remember now.
I hope so.
They said they have long-term plans to fix it permanently.
It was a quality of life issue, and they hinted toward the Vault, but they have not told us much. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think that is Renegades also, and that'll be good news, because until they can build a new engine where Vault space won't be as much of an issue. And actually, even new games can have issues with Vault space also. It's not like any game can have truly unlimited, but then you solve that problem by having references in collections. That's how you solve the problem.
Right. Exactly. Drop down menus. That's all you got to do. Taja said he thinks it's Renegades when that's going to come. It's when they've been hinting toward that. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I know we're running on time, but we had some questions from our community. I want to make sure we get those in tonight. And I'll talk about our topic of the week, which could go down another rabbit hole. So let's do that.
And we had people that wanted to talk about the Pete Parsons thing, but we don't have to this week.
Do you want to, maybe we'll make that a topic. You want to make, go ahead then. Go ahead. I do not know anything about Pete Parsons. So you enlighten me.
Oh yeah. It was announced today that Pete Parsons is retiring.
Well, good for him.
Bungie came out with an article. You can look on their website. And the way they're spinning it, I'm not saying this isn't the case, but he says he's stepping down, he's retiring, and guess who the new lead is going to be? Without looking. Do you have a guess? Yes.
Don't over-deliver, people. Don't over-deliver. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Right. That's what I was thinking too.
Oh, Justin Truman. Oh, we'll see.
Well, we're already on a don't over-deliver now with the portals.
Here's the one thing I did want to mention. I want to stay on topic of Destiny Rising. If anything, the one thing that I'm hoping Destiny Rising will do is it will give some competition to the Destiny game. And people over there at Bungie will look and see what people are obsessing about in Destiny Rising, other than the gacha part of it. Re-rolling stuff and gambling, trying to get that perfect roll, using real currency to do it, which I'll go down a rabbit hole on that. That's just terrible. I've heard horror stories of thousands of dollars people spend on a video game. It's just crazy. If they produce a very good quality game that is free to play and it does rival the new Destiny product, the new Destiny Prophecy year, then that competition might be healthy to have Sony look at Bungie a certain way and say, we need to integrate this stuff. And there could be some sweeping changes that could make a difference.
Yeah. And then real quick on the CEO thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little concerned about Justin Truman, but whatever. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But one thing that could have happened here, and, I'm just reading the tea leaves, but a lot of times when CEOs, quote, retire out of the blue, is they're kind of being forcibly made to, but they get to do it. They get a golden parachute. Basically what happens is
be fun.
Sony could be having some pressure here. And basically what they're saying is if you leave voluntarily, we'll give you a little extra money, but we won't fire you. If you don't leave voluntarily, we're going to fire you.
He saves face. If he wants to head up another game, he has the wherewithal.
Exactly.
He can do it. Yeah. That's a smart.
I'm not saying that's what happened, but with Sony taking over leadership more, it almost makes sense, right? Like,
where's the ban button? Tajo, how do we ban Tajo on the Discord? Let me figure out how to do it here. You're lucky I don't know how.
What's wrong?
He's saying, Gator, you've already spent thousands on Destiny. No, not even close, brother. Not even close. I do buy a few things on occasion from Eververse, but no, not even close, man. Not even close. Okay.
Anyways, that's all that we really need to know about it.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I heard it in the chat and I was like, I've been working all day in the sun. I didn't hear any of this, so I haven't been home all day today. It's been really hot and just been busy as hell. Let's get on to our questions from our community. I can't wait. There's some good ones in there. Be right back. Hey, Guardians, would you like to send a question for the show to us? There are 4 ways to do it. First, you can join our Discord server at discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. There's also a join link in our show notes down below. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. So come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we also occasionally post about our upcoming show and guest, and you can respond there with your question at Guardian_D_cast is our X handle. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com, and we might play it on the podcast. Think of it as talking with us right on the show. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian. All right, boys and girls, this is the part of our show where we get our questions from you guys. And man, community really showed up this week. We got some really good questions, really good Destiny questions in the chat or on the Discord. If you do want to leave us a question, by the way, and it doesn't have to be a Destiny question. If you want to ask us a life question or something out of the blue or off topic, we have a channel for that as well, built into the podcast questions. It's part of a thread. Feel free to add some of there. We don't mind, letting our hair down every now and then, what little bit I have. So, Destiny questions. The first one we got here is from Saint. He said, would you consider adding a segment to the show of a featured build of the week, going through all the aspects and fragments, weapons, armor, mods, etc., and the gameplay loop to shine a spotlight on a unique, innovative, community-sourced build? Could be in-game viable, could be meta ad clear, could be a burst DPS or a gimmicky setup. I'd love to hear what our community members are using and experimenting with. Maybe a rotating cycle of Titan build 1 week, Warlock next, and then Hunter. Thoughts? What do you think, Kingsley? We kind of did this a little bit.
Yeah, but hell no every week. That's setting too much of a precedence. But yeah, we like to do that from time to time.
From time to time. Once Bungie, is not so fresh and new, we usually like to, I'll usually find a build online or something that I'll mention that I've tried out. And maybe I can record a small game loop and show you how it works. But I mean, if I'm going to do that, I might as well make a video and put it on YouTube, right? So, maybe
then
something to consider.
Reminder, there's a builds channel in the Discord.
Yes, there is.
So in the meantime, people post your builds there. If you have any questions, you can ask other people. And it's a good reminder that Tajo recommended.
Yep.
But, we love the idea. There's just a lot. And with us getting like 3-hour plus shows sometimes too, it's like, we can't add more.
We cover a lot every week. If it's a slow week, there's not a huge TWAB to talk about or get your blood pressure worked up on, then maybe that'll leave us time for another segment like that. But we're already pushing 2.5 hours a week. So we have to consider our audience's time as well as our own. So, but we do hear you, man. We do hear you with something we have talked about in the past.
I am excited to talk about a build, and I think you are too. So maybe in the next couple of weeks we can do that.
Well, the main reason I haven't mentioned any builds because I'm at least still experimenting and finding out what's really working out there without going to YouTubers and finding out on my own too much. I want to kind of experiment. Okay. Well, maybe we'll do
how good I was at clearing in the raid, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you notice who had the highest numbers in the raid when we played in Desert Vigil?
For ad clears? I did.
No, for total boss.
Total boss damage? Oh, yeah. I wasn't doing a DPS build.
I was using a Song of Flame build with my Warlock. Oh, my God.
It was probably Tajo and then you, I think. It was something like that.
It was me.
Right?
Go back. You can't see it because we didn't finish it. Shit.
Well, anyways.
Anyway.
No, but that's awesome.
I was impressed with myself because I'm very rarely, I'm usually in the middle of the pack, if anything. So, okay. Tajo has a question. Do you think that this update has made more casual or less skilled players more comfortable doing harder content? Since they have slowly keep bumping up the difficulty to get better rewards, I think it has had at least one positive in doing so. I know personally I am way more comfortable trying harder activities now. I used to barely touch GMs and such, and now I am soloing them across multiple categories. I know these GMs are seemingly easier than before, but I still think the point holds true. What do you think about that, Kingsley?
Well, see, I don't think the point holds true if they're easier than before. Sorry. And I do think they're easier than before. I have mixed feelings on it. I still don't like doing sometimes the master or GM level things. And I also think they are easier now than they were before.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that really, but I think it's good news either way because it does at least get people in quote these higher level things, even if they're a little easier. Let's just say that they are. It's a plus. It's a plus. I don't really see any potential downside to it. We just kind of set a precedence though. Like now it's like, well, now we're going to have ultimate level, even higher than GM and all these things. And it's like, we're just rolling the ball back and forth. Right now things are a little bit easier and then we got to make harder levels on top of that. And then maybe they'll bring it the other way back down again where like master is really hard and GM's really hard.
Oh, Tajo, I 100% agree with you on this because you know how many Banes I saw before Edge of Fate? Banes, the guys coming at you with Void all over their floor and stuff. 0, because I didn't play Strikes. I didn't play Nightfalls. I played Crucible and whatever I was doing to farm, whatever. I love that the fact that they're exposing us to new ways and new difficulties in this game. And as I'm now in the Grandmaster playlist, which is the second highest, I'm really, it's really pushing me to be more aware of what's going on around me. I don't even have radar, man. I lost radar in the Grandmaster playlist. The solo ops I'm talking about. That sucks because I'm very visual. I love having to be able to look around me for when that stupid melee captain comes in behind me in the salt mines and stuff. So I love it. I definitely think it's training people to understand the Banes and understand the difficulties better. And the fact that they can add them in at their leisure when they feel comfortable to do it. I think it's a total win as far as this new system of putting your own content together.
Speaking of no radar, we'll have you in the no HUD raid because I'm sure I'll win that bet.
Oh no. I am going to get the Fated Weapon title before Renegade
I'm
drops.
saying that because I actually hope you will.
Okay.
Although it would be fun to have you in no HUD raid.
That will be hell. That is enough to drive me to do it.
You're already dealing with it in these activities. You can deal with it in the raid too.
I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm a big boy, but still, it's getting a headache just thinking about it. It might be the blood pressure. Who knows? Kilvin had a question. Now that we've had enough time to understand how the weapon tiers work and get a feel for the drop rates, do you miss crafting more or less than you thought you would going into the expansion? This question is mostly for Todd, as I think he was a bigger fan of crafting. I'll go to you first, Kingsley.
I didn't miss crafting really. I thought it was fine. I'm glad they had it in the game for catch-up mechanic purposes. I miss it less because I didn't need it much anyways. Yeah.
I I very much miss crafting. One, it solved at least put a Band-Aid on the vault issues we have, because it's great, that we have these new weapon tiers of weapons, these new tiers of weapons and all available perks. All you're basically doing is kind of crafting a weapon if you get tier 5, but it's still up to RNG. And I can even show you my dim inventory here. And I will show since the new tier weapon drops. And I can show you where I have multiple weapons. These are only tier 2 weapons, guys. Can you imagine what happens when I get tier 3s, tier 4s, tier 5s? I got bows and stuff over here, duplicates.
They're good.
But the problem is, this does not solve the vault problem. And it's funny, you can still, from Arms Day, I still got some enhanceable Warden Laws here. I don't even know if it's worth enhancing weapons anymore. I don't know if it's worth spending all the cores and stuff on it anymore. But I miss weapon crafting. Yes, you couldn't put enhanced mag or barrel perks on your weapon, but they can easily make that change. And I really think they should go right back to weapon crafting. I know people are going to put hate comments and whatever, but I don't care. Weapon crafting is something I really wanted. And when they finally delivered it, I felt that Bungie had made a turn in the right direction. And now we're back to RNG again. And now we have to store tons and tons of multiple rolled weapons, even if they're tier 5. Because what if you get a tier 5 and maybe you have 2 columns of 3 different kinds of variety of perks and they all suck? Then you just wasted that tier 5. You know what it becomes? Enhancement. It becomes infusible material is what it becomes. So they have not fixed that problem. And I think weapon crafting could have fixed it. They could have done it a different way. If you get so many kills on a weapon, instead of trying to get the red border weapons and stuff, they could have used a different system where as you use the weapon more, you can unlock a tier on the weapon where you can actually, until you reach a certain tier, then you can bring it to the weapon crafting table and make your own weapon the way you want to play. And what may be great, and even in the meta right now, may not be what I want to use. I may play a different way. And crafting always allowed me to do that, play my way. And that's a big thing that they have phased out weapon crafting. It's just sad. It really is. So that's my opinion.
So besides your 5-minute side point, you didn't actually answer his question. He wanted to know if you miss it more or less.
Tons more.
Like weapon crafting.
Tons more.
I miss it even more. Okay.
I miss it even more now. It's more. It's exposing. Sure. It's exposing the lack of weapon crafting even more now because, like I said, I've gotten tier 5 grenade launchers and I don't like any of the perks on them. But then you're thinking, but what if they buff this perk later? And all of a sudden it's the weapon to use. So guess what happens? It gets stored in the damn vault. And there it is sitting in the vault, collecting cobwebs like a bunch of my weapons that I'm hoping will be good in Crucible again one day when they buff that Headseeker perk or whatever it may be. And there we are, back with the vault problem again. So yes, Kelvin, to answer your question, I miss it much more now. And it's actually this new tiered weapon system. All it is a way to appease us that liked weapon crafting in the first place. But now we really
no. That's not all it is. That's not all it is because I didn't care about crafting, and I like this system as a separate point as for something else. Okay. Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
It is one reason, but that's not all it is.
I'm gonna give you another example. I'm gonna give you another example here. Going back to my dim, I have this little weapon right here. You notice I have it all the way infused, the highest power. It's only tier 2. This is the new Ahab Char. It has kill clip, heal clip. You know how many tier 4 of these I have just infused the power into because the other perks weren't good enough? I want kill clip and I want heal clip. When I'm doing solo content, if I kill someone and I got a champion running down my throat, I want to be able to reload quickly, get my health back, and then have more power to mow him down. That's why I love using this. And I got extended mag. I got 61 in the clip. And not to mention all these other fine seasonal mods that I can add to it as well. This Ahab Char I've had ever since it dropped in week 2. It's just a measly tier 2 weapon, and it doesn't matter what tier weapon you have because if it doesn't have the perks that you want, and if anything, all the tier 5 weapons do is they give you a better chance at RNG to get that roll that you actually want. That's all tier 5 really does to help you out. Okay, yes, it does have enhanceable barrel and perk as far as your magazine. Yes, I don't deny that, but I don't know if it's worth grinding all those tier 5 weapons when this little tier 2 Ahab Char works just fine for me. It knocks those overloads out really quick. So, just an example, just giving you a real world example there. But thanks,
but then if
Kevin.
you're going to use that example, you can also say there's no point grinding to 450 because a tier 2 weapon's good enough.
I didn't say that.
It's kind of true.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying.
But it's the same equivalent.
Yeah. We got a couple. Well, at least we have one non-Destiny question here I want to go out on. Okay. Let's go with, Sane and Taja both had good ones here. If you had to bribe someone for whatever reason, like going backstage at a concert or getting better seats, nothing crazy illegal, what could you do legitimately to be able to offer them that is in your power to fulfill? If you had to bribe someone for whatever reason, what could you legitimately be able to offer them that is in your power to fulfill?
I used to have better answers to this when I was younger, especially when I worked at Disneyland, and then also when I was
Free passes.
Also when I was in my church. I had some real world friends that were family members of top leadership in the church. But I don't know.
Legitimately be able to offer them?
Gosh, that is such an interesting question. I love it, but I can't think of something easily.
I barter stuff all the time with my services, my pest management company. Guys will go, I'll be, I don't know, at some activity that I, can't get in. And, you'll be surprised how many people have German roach issues in Florida. They'll go, "Oh man, do you have anything for roaches in my house?" I said, "German roaches?" Yeah. I'll go, "Yeah, man, I got something for you. I'll hook you up. I'll get you taken care of. Get you everything you need. Could you get me through this line right here?" "Oh yeah, man, no problem. We'll take you backstage." Not that that's happened a lot, but there have been instances where I've been able to barter. Bartering stuff is really cool when you're in your own business, so you don't have to worry about a boss hovering over you.
I've done that too. You got to find the people that really would like that. Like I've tried to do that sometimes with some people and they don't care. And then other people are like, "Oh my gosh, you can like fix all these computer things for me." Like and I get the better end of the deal because I'm getting their services
Absolutely.
Because they think mine is worth so much.
Yeah.
Where it's really just
that's the meaning of barter. I mean, they value your service more than they value their own, or vice versa.
I purely am on services and knowledge. I don't deal with product at all. So when I can barter with people that deal with product, like I was able to barter with an orthodontist and get braces in my adult life. This was a long time ago.
Oh, that's 10, great, man.
Years ago.
I do that all the time. I
got a way better deal out of it than he did because, and of course he was, he makes tons of money. He was just doing it at cost for me. Yeah. What he was losing, not really, because
it's his time.
Maybe it was pretty even, actually. But
it was his time, though.
Otherwise,
he didn't mind wasting his time if it meant solving a problem for him, especially if it's something that he doesn't have access to fix himself. Dude, I used to do it all the time. I actually did the pest management service for one of my dentists back in the day, and I always got a little bit of a better deal when I was on the chair. So, yeah, man, nice. It's awesome being able to barter stuff out. I barter stuff all the time. I bartered AC work. I bartered plumbing repipes on my house. I mean, that's a major price thing right there. Guy needed a termite job, so we bartered it out. I've bartered all kinds of things over the years. 30 years now I've been doing this. So, it's pretty cool. Saint will go out with this question. This is from Saint. "I'm in the midst of wedding planning and all the stress and decision making involved with such a process. To those of you that are married, what is the one thing you would change about the wedding itself if you could go back?"
Did you pay him for this question?
I did
This
not.
relates to your
I
latest
swear
podcast.
I did not. The reason Kingsley is interjecting here is my latest episode of 50 Years Expense Required was about marriage and relationships. And I'm sure he listened to the episode because he gave me some
But it is a
feedback.
good question that he has, right? Because I'm sure we both agree. And I listened to your episode. I'll go first, and you can give more context where guys, like almost everyone says this after the fact, unless you are very, 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 very wealthy anyways. And I mean very wealthy, but everyone wastes money on the wedding. Just do something small. Like don't, you know what I mean? Like, because when you look back, it's more about the experience, especially the two people getting married. They're not going to notice most of the shit that's going on behind the scenes anyways. So, there you go.
I'll share a few figures from my latest episode of 50 Years Experience because I did a little research before I put out the episode. 47% of the U.S. are married households, and 60-something% of households today have lived without being married in the same house. That's unheard of for me. I didn't do that when I was married. My wedding was, I actually found my wedding video from my mother-in-law. We're cleaning out her house. We're transferring her or actually have transferred her to an assisted living. And we had to clean out her apartment, and 3 weekends worth of cleaning people's stuff out of their houses. And it's taxing. It's very taxing. But I found my video because I lost my wedding video that I was given when I was married 32 years ago. And I was so distraught over it because I wanted to go back and see what we look like and, just reminisce. And I finally got my mother-in-law's video and I digitized it where I can play it on my computer. And man, it was such a small wedding, man. I thought this church was twice the size. I think it held maybe 150 people. It was a very small church. Thinking like, I don't know, 7 pews, 7, seating areas, rows. It did not hold a lot of people. And my wedding was very small. I spent my honeymoon in Daytona Beach on a cold November night. I think it was 40 degrees out. I was given the wrong key to a condo that my uncle loaned me for the weekend for my honeymoon. We spent our first night, and the only thing that was open 1 a.m., and that was a Best Western on a bad part of Daytona Beach. And I mentioned in the podcast, we couldn't even tell what color the carpet is because so many spring breakers had thrown up all over that carpet and they never changed it out. And think about how shitty of a wedding that was. It does not matter, Saint. It does not matter. The one thing that I noticed watching the video as the DJ was introducing the wedding party, and it was so cheesy, man, is that my wife and I did not give a shit. We've just loved each other. We were in the moment. It was our day. And that's what I would tell you, man. Just worry about you and your wife, future wife, and just think of the time that you guys have together and just enjoy your day. It doesn't have to be in a 500 person church. It doesn't have to be in a convention room in an expensive hotel. We had no money for any of that stuff, man. And it does not determine the marriage. I would go with the flow. I guess since your wife's family is probably responsible for putting the wedding together, let your wife do whatever. Turn a blind eye to what, if she asks you, what do you think? I'll just give you a little early advice here. Just agree with what she likes. Don't criticize. Don't get critical. Say, yeah, I agree with you. I think that looks really good. So, yeah, just don't stress over it, man. It'll be over before you know it. It'll be a blink of an eye. And then the real marriage actually starts on day 2 when you go back home, or week 2 when you're back from your honeymoon. So, yeah, there you go, Saint. Appreciate the question. Yep. All right. Thank you guys for the questions tonight. Before we go, I want to mention our question of the week. I was a little tongue in cheek with it this week, because we had a conversation. I was listening to the show back as I was editing it from last week. And we talked about possibly what would renegades be, So the question of the week was, we mentioned last week about light versus dark guardians and renegades, the force versus the darkness, or, light versus dark, basically. What if if they brought that back in Renegades, what do you think if Bungie finally did it? Jedis versus Siths. Maybe somehow the 9 makes us choose a side or something. I was just spitballing there, but 20% said hell yeah. 25% said yeah, maybe. 15% said nah, not possible with Bungie staff. And 40%, the majority, said let's keep it to Destiny, pal. I just kind of threw that one in. I thought that was funny. Tazo Trade said, I'm cool with some occasional transmog crossover, but don't want a Fortnite level of inclusivity for other brands. I also hate being forced to choose a side. That's why I enjoy Prismatic so much. Okay. McMaximo said, not interested in light versus dark guardians in most activities, but it might be fun in Crucible. Think of it like heavy metal where your fire team is randomly dropped into either Jedi or Sith, and both sides have different weapons and abilities. Saint said, given the fact that Light and Dark Saga is over, I think it's unlikely that Light and Dark Side of the Force will play a significant role in Renegades. I do think that the Dark Guardian concept is insanely cool and underdeveloped. In a world of Destiny where there's bound to be a few around, I'd love a story about dismantling an underground black market style story, only to find that a corrupted Guardian is at the head of the operation. That would be cool. I'd also love to see Spider return to form as a mob boss and a parallel to Jabba the Hutt. Absolutely. Boy, that would be great, wouldn't it? Add a sprinkle of bounty hunters and they'd have my attention. Kingsley, you mentioned, I think it's fine as a temporary idea, but I think you put the option of not just what we think, but what if it's going to happen. I'll choose that. Okay. Kingsley being Kingsley. It would be cool from Barrel Barley if the 9 had something to do with Force and the light and dark side. There's a bunch of different ways they can take it. Runner Red Lion says, I think it's going to be limited to things like weapons, armor, and some thematic elements without leaning too heavily into the crossover. Definitely not in ways that will affect long-term lore content, but even said it will be a Destiny story set in the expansion sandbox. Yes, I do remember them saying that, Ronan Red Lion. Walking Plague, he says, tinfoil hat-based theory here on what I've learned about the lore. I think the light and dark that's mentioned is going to have to do with Rasputin or Fellwinter, or even a combination of the two in some regards. From my understanding, the Plague Lands, it's a pretty iconic destination with the Dark and Golden Age, and was part of Wrath of the Machines, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that is where Wrath of the Machines took place. In my opinion, with the lore implications, if they don't do anything with these two iconic characters, it's a huge miss on Bungie's part. Either way, I'm looking forward to it. An Amazing Taco King said if they do that would be cool, but kind of weird at this point since the Light and Dark saga is over. I'm still all for a new zone and world PvP bounty hunting though. Make players who have been farming it in the zone worth more points based on objectives achieved. Fire team size bonus with less people, and stun and capture mechanic for a live turn-in bonus. Go full Wild West with it. Okay. Next week, I will not have a question of the week because we have our roundtable episode, and it's going to be all about our topics of conversation. So let me correct myself. There will not be a question of the week next week, but after that, yes, I'll be starting it up again. We'll have a question of the week that you guys can answer. Just go to discord.gg/GuardianDownCast. And then, don't forget to say hi when you're in there. We have a lot of welcoming Guardians, and you can go to the question of the week channel for that. Hey Guardian, let me ask you a question. As a podcast producer and listener myself, there's one thing that annoys me the most when listening to my favorite podcast. You're really getting into the flow of the conversation when out of nowhere, an obtrusive advertisement blaring into your earbuds. Sunday, it's our special weekend super duper blowout sale going on now at your local dealer. Doorbuster sales going on now. Cars at $48,000? No way, boy! Now $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Get down here for our super duper blowout sale going on now. What are you waiting for? Get on down. 30-second skip. What the hell? Podcast ads, in my opinion, really disrupt the natural flow of a great conversation. But thanks to our Patreon community, we don't accept outside advertising or promotion. So sit back and enjoy the show. Oh, and by the way, if you would like to become a part of a listener-supported podcast like this one, go to patreon.com/support Guardian Downcast. or just visit our website at guardiandowncast.com. You'll also have instant access to over 2 years of listener-supported audio and video episodes just for our Patreon community. Not to mention a cool badge in our Discord as well. Take care, and later, Guardian. Get on down! Hey, speaking of our Patreon community, I want to thank everyone who is a patron of the show. Patron, however way they say it. We appreciate everyone who gives back to our community. That's funny. I just did my year-end tax returns. I know I'm late. I'm self-employed. I'm always late. And, I was looking over all the expenses of just producing one podcast. And, it was 5 figures. So everything adds up. Every dollar we spend, whether it's a year prepaid services or like our hosting fees, whatever it may be, it adds up. And whatever falls short from our Patreon community, I pay out of my own pocket. So if you would like to support a listener-supported podcast like ours, doesn't produce any outside advertisements or promotion, head over to guardiandowncast.com and hit the Patreon button and find out what options are available to you as well. A big thank you to our major donors, which are Dungeon Champion patron Deadpool1 Merc, our Raid Boss patrons Jealous, Frostbite, and Amazing Taco King. Before we go, some final thoughts to wrap up this week. I know that I might have gotten a little overheated about the nerf to progression that Bungie plans on implementing in Ash and Iron, especially in the solo ops. But in my opinion, and I realize that I'm just one voice among many different player types out there, you don't penalize players for enjoying and playing what they want to play in your game. The smartest solution is always, especially in a looter-shooter game, make other activities that players are maybe not drawn to more enticing. Give them more loot. Give them more rewards. Why on earth would you spoil the fun players are having by nerfing the benefits of playing that activity? But I'm curious what you think. Is Kingsley correct in saying that players won't even notice? Or will the grind actually feel a little more out of reach, especially for us solo players out there? Let me know in our Discord, in our GDC feedback channel. It's discord.gg/GuardianDownCast. Remember, our community is always very welcoming, whoever joins. So don't hesitate to jump in, even if you're kind of new to Discord. I know not everybody knows about these community apps out there, but jump in and give us some feedback. You can also give us some feedback via email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or let us hear your voice by leaving us a voicemail at guardiandowncast.com. Hey, before you go, check out my new podcast, 50 Years Experience Required. It's on all the podcast apps out there that you normally use. And in a nutshell, it's about personal stories and experiences that I've had and the lessons I've learned from trial and error. My hope, is that these topics of conversation can help you in everyday life, all in less than a 30-minute podcast, or the amount it takes you to get ready for work in the morning, right? I just officially released episode 3, which addresses my experience, good and bad, in relationships and marriage. Short but sweet thoughts for the day, and for now, I'm releasing them every 2 weeks. So be sure to go out there and follow my new show. And remember, it's 50, F-I-F-T-Y, years experience required. If you search for it, make sure you use the word and not the number. Next week, we have our monthly roundtable episode, so I hope you'll join us. We'll have 2 community members that join Kingsley and I for basically any topic they want to bring up relating to our gaming hobby. So I hope you guys will join us live and give us your feedback and input while we discuss those topics live. Also wanted to mention that if you are enjoying what you're listening to today, hey, give us a review on whatever podcast app out there you use. All you have to do is go to guardiandowncast.com and hit leave us a review, and it'll tell you which platform to go to that you listen to. Well, that's a wrap. Another episode in the collection for our new listeners out there. We have 317 other episodes with interviews from gamers all over our community, talking Destiny and whatever else pops up on our roundtable episodes. So take a look at those, especially if you're just finding out about us. And if you like what you hear, tell a friend about us. It's the only way we grow. Everything is at guardiandowncast.com. Special thanks to my co-host, Kingsleymac. I'll have his links in the show notes if you'd like to follow him on the socials. You can contact me just about everywhere at Todd the Gator. That's TODDTHEGATR. YouTube, Twitch, all the gaming and social platforms out there. You should find me at that if you search for it. Or you can email me at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Remember, as you're playing Edge of Fate, take breaks and get outside and touch grass. Mr. P. King, I really enjoyed meeting you and your family out at Disney Springs this week. I hope you enjoyed your time from the UK and the great state of Florida. And okay, now you can get back to playing some Destiny 2. Hey everyone, remember, we're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, and your destiny. And be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
The weight of the world was on your shoulders, and still you triumphed. Marvelous.
Thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian. That's all I have for tonight, Kingsley. Is there something I'm missing, or are we good to go here? I think I've covered everything.
Excellent episode.
Yeah, perfect timing, right at the 2.5 hour mark, which is what I always like to try to reach. Really good conversations tonight. I might have gotten a little heated tonight. I don't normally get heated when it comes to Destiny stuff, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. I have a feeling they're going to be adjusting this going into the new grind in Ash and Iron, but we'll see. I don't want to suppose that this will happen, and maybe it won't. Maybe we'll figure out that it's fun playing.
I have a feeling most people won't notice. And when I say most, I don't mean like people in our community, but like general pop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for coming out tonight to our live show. We love that you guys come out and interact with us. Thank you all for doing that. Make sure you hit the like button or the follow button if you're on Twitch. Send me a follow and let me know. That way you'll get a notification every week when we go live, and be able to do that as well. And a couple things here. Icy Equilibrium, thanks for the follow. Wiz Wins, thank you for the follow, sir. Sweaty Spooks, that was from last week. Thank you everybody who joined us live tonight. It's awesome to hear you guys give us some feedback, and as long as you guys keep giving us feedback, I'll keep doing the live shows. So we appreciate you guys being out tonight. Hit the like button and subscribe if you're on YouTube. And thank you to everyone in the Discord tonight that jumped in to listen in or watch us talk about all of our topics tonight concerning Destiny. So until then, we got our roundtable show next week. I'll see you guys in the Discord. Later, Guardians.
Have a good one, everyone. I'm a grinder, man.